What's up? Sir Frank Bay live here to talk about Shakur Stevenson and the fraud exposed. If you guys been watching boxing, it's been all over, right? Big news actually today. But let's check out the eye candy. The eye candy, Tracy, I believe that's Tracy Cortez. She's a UFC fighter, right? um, yeah, a lot of news just dropped today. So let's talk about it. It's been a while since we've been on. Let's get to an intro real quick. All right, all right, all right. Lots of boxing. We had the big news. The big news. Oshaki Foster with the victory. If you guys watched that, Ray Ford, Oshaki Foster, they had a decent matchup. Decent matchup. Um, yeah, Oshaki Foster. The big news. It would have went over. It would have been a fart in the wind, right? But because Shakur Stevenson got in the ring, it was big news, and it was just crazy. It was crazy to see how big Shakur Stevenson was, looking at standing next to what up Matador, what up Franco, like Mussolini, Franco. Damn. Okay. Yeah, man. Did you guys enjoy the fights? Oshaki Foster was in action against Raymond Ford. And look, man, I guess I'm being a hater. Very lackluster fight. Raymond Ford is trash. It looked like he didn't come to fight. I'm sorry. It looked like he did not come to fight. He didn't come to win. K Breezen hit the like one time for the homeboy. Shakira looked like he was gonna cry. BDA, thank you. Shakira looked like he was gonna cry when Foster said he made him quit in sparring. Yeah, it was a lot of hooting and hollering and all, nigga, what's up? And you ain't shit, bitch. And they just talking real crazy. And then they go in and play tag. Salute BDA. He did. I was on his live yesterday, being a hater. What did we anticipate a snoozer? I mean, look, I wouldn't call exactly a snoozer, but for all the shit they was talking, it just didn't really do it for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like you pump it up to a girl. Yeah, girl, I'm gonna rock that world. And then you're a one pump chump. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just kind of lackluster. You don't get a return call. Raymond Ford always fought that way. You know what? And we knew that, but it was just the build up and the shit talk. It made you think. It made you think that they might start nugging. You know what I'm saying? It might be something worth watching. But look, man, that the thing with it is, it was boxing. I mean, it was high level boxing. I'll give it to him. But Oshaki Foster cannot punch. He just can't punch, man. I wish I could show the highlights, but the guy can't punch for shit. Hit the like. I will be dropping the link. I just want to flambe on this. Not flame. I'm not flaming. I'm flambeing. Right? But overall, I mean, look, I don't particularly care to see Oshaki Foster again. Not particularly entertaining. It just was. He look. I just can't imagine paying for him. I'm on Twitter, on X, and I'm talking about they're trying to hype an Oshaki Foster and Shakur Stevenson fight, and it's just like, who's gonna pay $90 for it? Is anybody gonna pay for Oshaki Foster and Shakur Stevenson? That's all I want to know. Is anybody willing to pay for it? And the way I'm judging fights now, man, is it worth staying home for? Like Dimitri Bivol, he fought on Saturdays. Did anybody watch Dimitri Bivol fight? Now, I guess Frank Bay, I've moved into casual territory, right? I'm kind of a casual now because it's like, dude, is it really worth staying home and watching a fight on a Saturday afternoon? Dimitri Bivol to fight a guy I fear who had like one of the lowest outputs in boxing history. It's insane to think about that you sit on a Saturday, right? I mean, look, people got things to do. I had things to do on a Saturday afternoon, and normally I am a boxing junkie. I will tell the fam I can't make it. I'll miss grandma's birthday to watch some boxing. Like Boots and Xander, I don't care what happens. You know what I'm saying? Grandma could have a party or the nephews or nieces, and Frank Bay is watching Boots and Xander. But other than that, What is really worth staying home on a Saturday night? You can go out with your side piece. You can go out with your chick. You can go out with moms or pops. People got things to do on the weekends, and to sit on boxing, it has to be worth it. So that's my new thing. Is it worth staying home? Let me ask you guys this: Was Oshaki Foster and Ray Ford worth staying home? Go hang with the homeboys, go chase some chicks. Both Ford and Foster probably have stamina and defensive issues. Well, how? They're like 130 pounds soaking wet. I mean, they're training, they're getting paid good money. You gotta fight. You gotta fight, man. I don't want to buy that shit. More BC, thank you. Hit the like. The fight proves Black American boxers can't pressure and throw combos. And I'll be honest, that's what it looked like. Look, man, you gotta call a spade a spade. You gotta call it for what it is. People always talk about Mexican boxing, flat-footed, this, that, and the third. But when it's Mexican on Mexican crime, when it's brown on brown violence, everybody loves it. Oh, it's Mexican boxing. They're coming to war. But when it's slick African American fighters, oh, it's a chess match. It's like you're trying to calm me to believe something that I don't believe. I don't think it's particularly. Look, man, like this shit. This shit is gay. This guy, Richard Hitchenson's gay as in GEY. Not that there's anything wrong with that. These guys writing essays on why they won't fight their brothers. Boxing is cooked. So Richard Hitchens is posting a very suspect picture of him and Shakur Stevenson holding hands and look like they just got done wrestling and showering. And there's nothing suspect at all about it, right? Nothing at all. But look, let's be honest about these things. Let's be honest about what it is. These guys, they talk all this shit and then they don't come to fight. They get in the ring and they have all this gangster energy, like, what's up, motherfucker? I'm going to kick your ass and all this hooting and hollering. And they don't back it up. Cribs begging for, Vato says Cribs begging for more chitlins. I don't know what it is, man. Look, I don't want to get put in that boxing bubble like, oh, you're hating on black boxers or slick style, or you just want rock'em sock'em. Zuffa is the new PBC. Because that's what it sounds like, right? But I truly mean this. I mean, for my entertainment dollar, right? If I'm paying $40 for the zone, Zuffa's 13, the PBC does their pay-per-views. Are some of these fights worth watching? Now, Ban Rodriguez is fighting Antonio Vargas. I got to be honest. Is that a fight worth sitting home and watching? It looks like Antonio Vargas was elevated, but Bam should, the only appetizing thing is Bam at a new weight class. But you got to think about it, man. There was a women's boxing on. Nobody gave a shit about that. Nobody gave a shit about the women's boxing card. I don't think we talked about it once. If and two Mexicans face off, when we're going to be entertained, almost guaranteed. Well, that's how they sell it. But, it's always disrespected. It's always disrespected by it's just rock 'em, sock 'em. But when Oshaki Foster and Raymond Ford, they were very hesitant. It's like neither guy wanted to be first. And I'm sitting and watching, and I'm just like, like this guy, Adam Abramowitz. He's a writer for boxing, a journalist, like an actual journalist. And he says Foster and Ford is another great example where at the top level of the sport, it's about much more than skills. Last night was all about intangible, not skills. One fighter had a clear edge. And see, what that tells me is he knows it was lackluster. He knows it was probably pretty boring. Aside from Oshaki Foster throwing flurries that really didn't land, he's trying to tell you, oh, it meant more than that. Nah, motherfucker. Nah, man. Either it's blood and guts or it's nothing. Either you entertain, I'm staying home, I'm plopping down, I got my beers, I got my food, and I want to be entertained. I'm sorry. We were talking about the Zuffa cards. Not a lot of names, but they were knockouts. Shane Mosley got the brutal knockout. The Zuffa cards is having a lot of knockouts. Jade Mason Wong. She's a baddie. Boxing is dead, unfortunately. They better pray for another Mexican star. Well, that guy Lucero, man, he just got whooped. So I know there's Idiete. Oscar has a couple. The Cepatillo youngster, Mo Athletic and shit. Look, man. I mean, look, they're skilled. Oshaki Foster is decently skilled, but he can't punch for shit. There was no threat of any danger. Snackford, and both Foster and Ford are less reserved than Shakur, Haney, and Hitchinson's. Now just imagine how trash those buns will be. And they're trying to sell us, oh, it's a great fight. That'll be an interesting matchup for Shakur. Nah, man, I mean, and I'm shitting on Bivol too. Dimitri Bivol didn't do anything for anybody. Nobody's talking about it. At least if he had got a highlight reel knockout, we could be talking about it. But other than that, holy shit, man. And now Shock and he call him Shock and Shakur. They're going back and forth. Boy, I was telling your scary ass to shake on the fight right in front of the world, goofy. You know what's up with me. I told you back then I don't do no fake kicking or none of that shit. Now send the contract. You doing all that bumping to get active. Boy gonna want to shake my hand or say he ain't shaking hands. Fuck out of here. And then they slap. Steve Kim actually says it. You know, he's kind of mainstream, but he says it. He says, Bivol frustrates you at times. You know he can do a lot more at times, but it's hard to argue with his results. This is a master boxer with incredible tactical acumen. In other words, to say, boring. You know, we're putting extra sauce, you know, because it's bland. I'm looking for the matchup when they were face to face. But if you guys seen it, Shakur, man, that guy's 3 times bigger than Oshaki Foster. Why are we entertaining this fight? I've been telling you guys, the guy's a fraud. Shakur Stevenson is a fucking fraud. Ryan's the only guy trying to fight this actual Pierce. Well, look, man, the reality is Ryan's Latin, Mexican American. They know who the A side is. They know who the largest fan base in boxing is. See, people don't want to talk about those things. At least Frank Bay, I'm gonna say it, and it is what it is. You know, hit the like for the homeboy one time. I will be dropping the link. Ray's the only guy. Ryan, okay, ain't nobody drink that grape. Boring. Look, man. I mean, I guess I'm a casual, and I'm starting to lean more to be a casual. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's just, you know, I had things to do this weekend. I haven't been on in 2 weeks because, you know, it's graduation. A lot of things are going on. Franklin, sub technique. Thank you. It's the summer, you know, here they are. Okay, so I found it. It's the summer, guys. People do things. There's graduation parties. You know, there's birthdays. There's traveling. There's vacation. Frank Bay had to travel. You know, things pop up. And I wasn't able to really invest in watching because, trust me, I will put shit to the side and boxing will have, you know, boxing will go before a lot of things. But sometimes I'm forced to do it. But then I'm like, why would I sit and watch a Bivol fight that didn't do anything for me? Frank Espinoza looked impressive on the undercard of Ford and Foster. Okay, I'll have to maybe watch the highlights. Salute, Frank. Casuals rule, baby. Yeah, you know, I mean, I shit on casuals. We shit on casuals. But more and more, it's like you got to be more selective. They're charging you $40 for this shit. They're charging you pay-per-views. You know, that like Anthony Joshua versus this guy Paranga. Who the fuck is going to sit and waste a Saturday night on that? Now, I know I probably will because I'm a degenerate junkie. But at the same time, I don't blame casuals if they're not going to sit and pay attention to some of these matchups. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hit a 1 if you understand what I'm saying. Is anybody really going to take the time out, you know, and sidestep parties for family and taking chicks out and doing all the shit for Anthony Joshua and Paranga? I mean, how many tune-ups do these motherfuckers get? They just play us. They milk us. You know, it helps me. You know, it helps, like, you know, talking to Mr. BDA. He had actually released a documentary in the live yesterday. Really good live. You know, Never Sobers was on. So, you know, and all you guys are there. But I'm starting to ask myself, man, I'm like, you know, I'm going to pay attention to what I'm going to pay attention to. You know, nah, you were right to skip the Bivol fight. Shit was trapped. Well, look, if it was Saturday night, I have 2 TVs going. I got my phones. I can literally watch 4 or 5 things. I got UFC. I got boxing. I got bare knuckle. That's the other thing. There's more competition with boxing. The more I pay attention to boxing, the more boring it gets. Exactly. Dude, I haven't been on for 2 weeks. I would like to do more lives, but this is kind of the only time I get an hour or and a half in the afternoon, and I appreciate it being here. And I don't mean to shit on boxing. It's just, for our entertainment value and dollar, it's got to do better. I think we got nothing coming up on the schedule. Sometimes it just gets really dry. I stream all fights, including Foster and Ford. Thank you, Skull Kid. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't blame you. I used to be like, man, if you don't support boxing, then you ain't shit. If you don't buy the pay-per-views, you don't support boxing. But at the same time, it's like, like Xander Zayas and Jerron Ennis, the undercard stinks. It's got Emiliano, but I don't know who he's fighting. Yeah, I just feel more and more like a casual, Marco Vera, amateur rival Amari Jones, fought on the Ford versus Foster card. Yeah, and you know what? The Ford Foster card, I was thinking too. I think I was sleeping because I got home from an event and I was kind of buzzed, so I took a nap and I didn't miss anything. I'm like, damn, I missed the DAZN card. It's $40. I mean, think about it. If you're paying $40 for DAZN, you're basically buying a pay-per-view every month. If you really think about it. And then you get the ultimate package. And they're giving you these really suspect pay-per-views. B-Vol fighting Uber drivers. Look, man, if these guys want to take tune-ups, that's fine. Look, it's boxing, right? I understand it. $40 in this economy. Well, look, I'm a fan of boxing, so I'm going to do it. But at the same time, I'm questioning it. I'm like, damn, really? A pay-per-view every month for this? How much shit Fire Stick Boys outside? I used to say, man, those are brokies. But now I kind of get it. How many tune-ups is AJ Astu's Joshua Nina's career? Him and Hearn are exhausting. Look, man, I mean, it's crazy, right? Well, now he has like a legitimate excuse. But at the same time, it's like, bro, they've ruined several fights with this guy getting slept. Tim Tszyu and Earl Spence, Xander and Boots Ennis are the biggest fights on the schedule. And I like those fights. I'm going to take my Saturday. I already got the babysitter. I made sure I got that time. It should be 10, not 40. Look, even if it was 15, I couldn't complain. Zuffa, Paramount is like 12, 13, but Zuffa, you also get the UFC. DAZN, you really don't get nothing but boxing, so it should be like banger after banger after banger. But they do a lot of UK fights. So, I'm just questioning. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, with this. But I think, is Anthony Joshua and Pranga, are they on Netflix? I think they might be. So let's talk about Shakur Stevenson. Been kind of going everywhere, just kind of ranting. It's been 2 weeks, right? I missed the Usyk thing. Released a video. But Shakur Stevenson, this guy has all the energy for a Shockey Foster. Look at how small he is, dude. How is this guy, 140-pounder, the top guy, lineal champion? He gets in the ring to fight Ryan Garcia, and now he's getting in the ring for a Shockey Foster. He's going to bring up a guy 2 weight classes. The fact that he's even entertaining it, just tell me this guy's a fraud. I got Tim Tszyu knocking Earl Spence out under 4 rounds. Valdez looks bigger than Foster. Foster, this is him at his how he's gonna look in the ring. This is literally how it's gonna look in the ring. Shakur is gonna look about the same, because he'll shrink down, but he'll also hydrate, and he'll be on the allegedly, he may have some snacks in between then. So he's gonna be a lot stronger, a lot bigger, a lot faster than Shockey Foster. But I just can't understand why people are entertaining this fight. They're saying that it's interesting, that they're calling Shockey a pound-for-pound fighter. You think I'm joking, man? When I said that, people thought I was joking. No, man. People see fights like Shockey Foster, doing a lot of pity pats, flurries, moving around, holding, and they feel that's high-level boxing. They can't get enough of it. Shakur didn't have this energy with Haney, Ryan, and Rolly. Yeah, he's talking about catch weights, rehydrations. I got Tim Tszyu by KO. So a lot of people are giving Tim Tszyu, huh? Low Life Torture Stalker, Psycho Demon. Whoa, what a name. You got a lot of fingers to get that in, huh? But I just don't understand why people are even entertaining it. Even this guy, Boxing Ego, I guess he's a YouTuber. He says, Shakur sounds foolish. yelling you bum when he just cooked your mans that you said he was gonna beat him and you said he needed to get through. Wow, this kid Jen is chopped, no integrity. Then Shakur looked huge and said Foster is little. He would KO him, but won't move up to 147 to fight Ryan and Devin. And that's a brother. They're all elite. This guy's getting cooked on it. I'm actually surprised that a lot of brothers are actually shitting on Shakur. A lot of people are actually shitting on it, and I'm surprised. You know, but you got to understand, a lot of these guys are Tank Davis fans. I don't know if Tank Davis pays them or whatnot, and I guess Tank Davis is in the news because he has a warrant out for his arrest. Another guy says, that's the last time I waste my time watching the Foster fight. I'd rather watch my grass grow. Somebody else says, Shock is willing to jump from 130 to 140 to fight Shakur, but Shakur wouldn't fight Haney at 135, 140, 147. Dude turning into Tank minus the power. So a lot of these guys, but you got to understand, a lot of these guys are actually Tank Davis fans, or they're Haney fans. So there's like a mini riot. I mean, not a riot, but there's beef, internal brother beef between Haney's, Shakur, and Tank Davis fans. So look at that. Holy shit, man. And then they just jibber jabber. Lippity flop floop. Let's see if let's listen in to this bullshit. Now they're talking about they made each other quit or some bullshit like that. And this has become the new thing in boxing, right? There's real bitch shit about sparring. I guess sparring means everything and everything, right? Adam Zine looked impressive against Steve Clackett. Hit the like. I will be dropping the link. When does sparring become the end all be all? I mean, look, all these guys, if they're at the top level, they all kind of know each other. But Shakur, what he gets accused of is that he tries to bring, that's what Shakur Foster accused of him of, is bringing people into his camp because he wants to basically spy on them. He wants his friends to spar him or fight him so he can get intel. Biggest bitch shit I've ever seen in boxing. Let's see. Let's continue. See what they're talking about. He said 4 rounds I made you quit. N-word. He's talking about he's gonna knock him out. He don't knock anybody out. These guys, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is like I said. Is this another reason to become a casual? You know, because these guys talk all this shit and then they don't perform. You know, like I said, it's just like you're with a chick and you tell her you're gonna rock her world, you're gonna hit it like nobody else, and then you're a one-pump chump. You know, look, man. It's just crazy. I mean, at least Tank Davis and Benavidez, at least they knock motherfuckers out. Even the Monster knew he knocks people out. Or like, at least they go for it. I don't know what nothing is. So he's asking him to shake on it. What does just shake mean? A shake ain't gonna do nothing. Did Ryan? He didn't have this energy for Ryan Garcia. I think he was on his best behavior. Skull Kid, what kind of pills does Shakur take when he fights around 140? Yeah, it's snack. They you know, he takes some snacks, allegedly. At least Stank gets knockouts. At least he tries. You know, I knew he don't get knockouts every time, but at least he tries. He drops motherfuckers. He hurts. He breaks bones. Grown men acting like kids. I mean, look, it's a fight and they're hyping it up. But what I'm saying is the energy here don't match what we see in the ring. You know, Raymond Ford and Raymond Ford and Oshaki were doing the same thing, and they were just slap boxing. If you ever seen these guys, they do a lot of slap boxing, and that's what it mimics. Neither guy really wanted to take a chance. You know, I had the fight close. Did you guys have Ray Ford and Oshaki Foster close? I had it close. I want to know if you think I'm wrong, I'm right. I wish Shakur and Keyshawn fight Pandora. Holy shit, man. You're going to get those guys killed. So let's continue.
I don't know nothing. Let's see me next. I'm
Okay, come on.
Let's do it.
Nigga.
Let's do it.
Bum ass.
Hey, y'all heard him.
Bum.
Y'all heard him.
You a bum.
Man, watch out, bro.
You a
Watch
bum.
out. Don't disrespect me, bro.
You a bum. You a bum. Well, why are you entertaining fighting this guy? What is all this shit, man? The Haney and Tank and all these guys and Shakur, Richard Hitchinson, you know, these guys, they're always at these fights, and they're always, even Keyshawn Davis, he's a big guy that does this. You'll see him beefing at fights, and nothing ever happens. These guys never fight. Imagine Shakur tries fighting Fedora with the Badoink style. Badoink. I had a 7-5 Foster. Thank you, Skull Kid. So, look, the first 6 rounds were kind of highly competitive. They were highly competitive. I thought it was, you know, I think the reason people thought O'Shaquie Foster kicked his ass or won easily is because it looked like Ford quit. Ford quit in the last 2 rounds, probably like the last 3 rounds. Something happened in the fight. It looked like he gave up. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong.
Don't disrespect me, nigga. Don't disrespect me, bro. Hey, I'm gonna come see you next. I told y'all gonna be your bitch. I told y'all you a bitch.
He starts saying you a bitch as soon as the security comes. That's that hold me back energy. I will be dropping the link in just a minute. Shakur has all that energy for smaller fighters, but asking for catch weights for Conor Ryan. Man, look, man, these guys are frauds. I'm telling you. Shakur's a fraud. Straight up. There's nothing that he does that tells me any different. It was kind of boring watching Foster and Ford. It was interesting. It was, look, I'm shitting on it, but if I'm truly honest, it was skilled. It was skills. Okay, they were doing skills, but at the end, Ford just quit. So it made me think, man, this shit stunk. Well, this guy just quit. Tell me if I'm being too hard on Raymond Ford. But his eyes literally looked like he quit, and people were saying he was tired. I don't buy that excuse. I don't buy that he was tired. He was throwing with enough power. It seemed like he could hurt O'Shaquie Foster, and something happened, and he gave up. Maybe because O'Shaquie Foster was moving too much. Like somebody said, they can't fight coming forward, so he just felt defeated. Maybe not quit, but defeated. Was it most skills, Frank? That's what people are saying. Most skills, more athletic. I don't buy it. I believe Raymond Ford got defeated in there, and it had nothing to do with physicality. It had nothing to do with O'Shaquie Foster. Something happened. I don't know, man. It just seemed kind of suspect. I'll leave it at that. You guys let me know if you've seen the same thing. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll watch the last couple rounds. But it seemed like he just stopped trying. That's another way to say give up. Take care, bro. Okay, we'll hit the like. Yeah, I'll drop the link right now if anybody wants to tell me what do you think. A lot of people are saying they want to see O'Shaquie Foster versus Navarrete. I think that's a good fight, but I don't think Navarrete. I don't know why they're saying that. It looks like Navarrete would be fighting Lomachenko, because one of the things I miss, Lomachenko is back, and he's going to be fighting Charlie Suarez, the guy that people think that beat Navarrete. That Navarrete never gave a rematch. So it looks like that's possibly setting up a Lomachenko fight. The link is in the chat. But yeah, man, Shakur Stevenson, you know, and this fight would have gone under the radar. I don't think anybody would have cared. But Shakur Stevenson being at the fight kind of gave it a little more energy. But I think this whole back and forth, this whole talking shit to each other, it's all fake. It's all theater, man. You know, it's just boxing politics. You know, it's a way to sell a fight. It's a way to keep Shakur Stevenson in the news. But I think it's ridiculous. I think this fight is a ridiculous matchup. You're a pound-for-pound fighter. You're bringing up a guy 2 weight classes for what? Because he beat you in sparring or he's talking shit about you. But the fight itself makes no sense. Now, I will tell you one thing. It looks like the big news today was that people are saying that Shakur Stevenson, I don't know if you guys have heard already, but it looks like Eddie Hearn Eddie Hearn says Shakur signed with Zuffa, so that'll be moving forward. I just don't know who they'll put him in with. So Shakur Stevenson, the big news today, Shakur Stevenson signing with Zuffa. There's rumors that it's more people. There's more big names to be signing. So if that's true, if Shakur Stevenson did in fact sign with Zuffa, so Punch Drunk Boxing says 3 high-profile fighters already have signed to Zuffa. Announcement coming soon. So if they do sign Shakur Stevenson, it could be the takeover, right? There it is. Eddie Hearn has told reporters that Shakur Stevenson has signed with Dana White's Zuffa Boxing. Thoughts? Like I said, I hope it's true. The link is in the chat. I hope it's true. Shakur Stevenson going with Zuffa is a great thing. Is a great thing for boxing. And I'll tell you why. Because at least I don't have to pay for his fights. Right? If he signs with Zuffa, well, hopefully, right? Zuffa is subscription based, right? So if he signs with Zuffa, hopefully that means we don't pay for pay-per-views, right? I'm guessing that would be. Oh, that's right. The highlight was Foster throwing Ford out of the ring. And no points were deducted. Nothing was taken away. Wasn't going to be paying anyways. Facts. Navarrete would embarrass Shock. Facts. I think it would be an interesting match. It's a unification. 3 belts on the line. I think the other champion is Kasase. I'd pay Shakur a pie biscuit to go to one of his fights. Well, look, man, I mean, it's boxing, so we're going to watch. We're degenerate junkies. But there's no way I would pay a pay-per-view price tag for a Shakur Stevenson fight. You know, Teofimo, fool me once. Shame on you, fool me twice. So buying that, you felt kind of, the undercard was decent. So whatever. But another one, nah. I just can't. I couldn't imagine paying for another Shakur Stevenson fight. Hit the like. The link is in the chat. So him going to Zuffa, what does that mean? I hope it means no more pay-per-views, right? That's what I'm thinking, because if he fights on DAZN, they're going to charge you the pay-per-view unless you have the ultimate package. Kasase is more dangerous than Foster. Yeah, he's more of an action fighter. He comes to fight. Shocky Foster is a back foot bitch. He makes it look good with flurries here and there, but he has no power to speak of. That's the other reason I was like, why would you even entertain a Shakur Stevenson fight? I mean, Shocky Foster can't punch where he's at right now, 130. Imagine him at 140 against another guy who can't punch. I mean, damn. That has disaster written all over it. But hey, man, they give us worse, shittier fights. But Shakur Stevenson going to Zuffa, I hope that means that we never have to pay for his fights again. I mean, unless you have the subscription, right? But I think Zuffa doesn't do pay-per-views. The UFC had pay-per-views. They're on Zuffa, and they don't do the pay-per-views. So, look, that's a great thing if Shakur Stevenson goes to Zuffa, and then we don't have to worry about it. $13, I don't mind. I don't even know if I would talk shit because I'm paying $13. I think you guys can even fire stick it, right? I'm sure you guys stream it all. And I don't blame you. But I don't know what that means. Does that mean that because it looks like, so here's the problem. The problem with Zuffa is that they're having the belt. It looks like the belt organizations, he ain't even worth $13. I hear you. But you know what? Zuffa is good at matchmaking. They have decent undercards. So, you can stomach it, right? If they give you good cards. So if Zuffa signs Shakur Stevenson, that's a big deal, man. They're taking over. They are taking over, and they're going to war with the belt organizations. That was the other news, the David Benavidez news. I don't know if you guys heard about that. There was rumors that Turki Al-Sheikh offered David Benavidez a fight against Jai Apataya, and he turned it down. Let's see. Kasase is better than Foster at fighting on the back foot. This won't last too long. You're talking about Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson going to Zuffa is a great thing. You know, he already said fuck the belts. There is a war going on in boxing with the belt organizations, the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman. Here he is. He's putting down his foot with the trying. So Mauricio Suleiman has confirmed to boxers that Noel McAlean will be stripped if it faces Joe Apataya instead of David Benavidez. The link is in the chat. Hit the like, hit the link if you want to hop on. So there is a war brewing. Well, we already knew this was kind of coming to the surface, but the IBF stripping Jai Apataya and that fiasco. Now Mauricio Suleiman is playing interference. Mr. MT23, that's Cat. Benavidez Paz been trying to get in contact with their side. Who? I'm not sure who you're referring to. Jai Apataya. Well, hit the link if you know more than me, or I'll put it in the chat. Frank Bay is open platform. Anybody can hop in at any time. Tell me I don't know shit. Talk your shit. Shakur is Jay Prince Golden Boy. He's the one, right? He's the next Floyd Mayweather. That's who they want as the face of boxing. But what does it mean with Shakur going to Zuffa? There is a war brewing. Shakur already said fuck the belts, right? He did a Mill City interview. Look, man, I don't buy anything that these people say, whether it's Benavidez, whoever, the dads, whoever's speaking for the fighter, unless I hear it for the fighter, and even that's 50% believable, I don't believe them. You know, there's powers that be. There's powers that be in boxing. But we do have a war going on. So Shakur Stevenson going to Zuffa, does that mean now he's excused from defending his title? Will he only defend the ring title? More BC, somebody help me. When you have the ring, can you have the ring without having the belt? I thought it was a prerequisite to have one of the belts. Unless I'm misinformed. There's just so much shit going on, especially with the Zuffa war going to happen now, getting one of the top fighters like Shakur Stevenson. But you believe Turkey or whoever they say they send an offer. I said it was a rumor. See, people take things literally. I'm not saying anything. I'm a conduit. I tell you what's going on, try to predict it, try to get it right. Not always right, but I try to give you the outline, right? The possibilities and what's highly likely. So this Shakur Stevenson, if it's true, I mean, this could all be fake news. A lot of this is fake news. They told me Shakur was negotiating with Devin Haney like 3 months ago. Remember Devin Haney reportedly signed for $100 million? What happened to that? What happened to that? So him going to Zuffa, he won't be fighting for any belts. He doesn't have to unify against Dalton Smith, Gary Russell. Who's he gonna fight? T Swoof. Thank you. Long time no see, brother. Black boxers is done and they know it. Nobody's interested in their hype jobs and affirmative action cheating. Okay. Joe Calzaghe only won the ring light heavyweight title against Bernard Hopkins. So you're saying that you can win the ring belt without actually holding a title? I thought it was a prerequisite at least to hold one. Mr. Mount says black boxers done inferiority complex much. Well, it's free speech here. Shakur Puerto Rican though. Isn't he half? He's half. He was repping it. But Shakur Stevenson, the only fight to make is Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. I don't know why when's this guy fighting again? Joe Apataya is the ring and Lino cruiserweight champion. You're right, but he had a belt, right? Hit the like, hit the link. So a war is brewing. A war is a brewing. The belt organizations versus Zuffa Boxing. Dana White is poised for the takeover. Everything boxing says. Cruiserweight. McAlean ordered to defend WBC title against Benavidez 3-belt unification. IBF title vacant. Vidal Riley to face number 1. And nobody knows who McAlean is. Nobody knows who these guys are. Floyd Mason, David Nika. Mauricio Suleiman has declared war on Zuffa. right? Here he is saying, has confirmed that this is unprecedented, right? This is a slap to Dana White and Zuffa, right? He's playing interference in this game. So David Benavidez, is he a duck? Please let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Is David Benavidez a duck? Is this a bad look? I've said it before. Look, Benavidez, he had the whole Canelo thing, right? It's kind of ironic. It's kind of weird, right? Benavidez was the monster. He was the monster. Everybody was scared of him. Canelo Alvarez is the biggest duck in the world. Now all of a sudden, the hunter becomes the hunted. But you know the crazy thing is that nobody's heard from Joe Battaglia. I think it would help Joe Battaglia if he was out here doing what Benavidez did to Canelo, calling him a pussy. He's a chicken. He doesn't want to fight me. But Joe Battaglia has been pretty polite, been pretty quiet. I think they were at an event and they were hugging it out. Hit the like, hit the link, you know. It looks like some words were exchanged. At Frank Bay, we say it. I say it all. We say black boxers, Mexican boxing, flat-footed, you know, Eastern Europeans, white boy summer, you know, Tyson Fury, Usyk, white boy summer. We say it all, man. It's free speech. People need to speak their mind. Race and politics have a lot to do with it. You know, with this whole WBC thing, they say the WBC is biased to Latino fighters. Is that true? Is it just because they're based out of Mexico? Mauricio Solomon's a Mexican. You know, they favored Canelo. Now it looks like they're favoring David Benavidez. You know, it's ironic that people shit on the WBC for protecting Canelo, and it was hating on David Benavidez. But now David Benavidez is the protected. See, this is what I talk about when I talk about boxing, man. I don't really take sides. I don't try to shit on the belts. I don't try to shit on Zuffa. I try to just see it for what it is. And us as boxing fans, we're the ones that get screwed, right? In a perfect boxing world, Shakur Stevenson at 140 would either move up at 147, go for a title versus Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney, right? Or he would defend or unify at 140 with a lot of good names. You got Antoine Russell. You got Dalton Smith, Artie Puello. You got some really good fights. But none of that's going to happen. Now we have belts versus Zuffa. And guess who gets screwed? The boxing fans. We're the ones that get played. Frank Bay. That's what I'm saying. Is it time to become casuals? You guys love boxing like I love boxing. That's why you're even listening to me. Hit the link, speak your mind. But it's like with all these games, man, is it time to become a casual? Is it that time to say, you know what, man? I'm just going to stream the shit. I'm not signing up for PBC, Amazon. I'm not signing up for Zuffa because they'll probably raise the prices. You know that's what's going to happen, right? If Zuffa gets Shakur Stevenson, they're going to raise the prices. That's what DAZN did, right? They signed these fighters. They told you no pay-per-view. Now they got the fight. They got Canelo. They raised the prices. They said, well, we got to pay for Canelo. Us, the fans, we are the ones. We carry the sport with these shows, these podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I know you guys do too. I really listen to it all. Some I like, some I don't. And really, all these rumors and games, they help us, but we don't get the fights. The schedule's pretty barren. Mr. Mount says, protected by who? Yeah, let's pretend he's scared of a guy who struggled with Brandon Glatton. Hey, man, I that's fair enough. But look, man, David Benavidez needs to fight Joe Battaglia. It's for the sport. For the sport, he needs to fight Joe Battaglia. That's just cut, dry, and clear. You know, it's like this game that boxing plays with us. Anthony Joshua, another tune-up, Pranga, on DAZN, probably pay-per-view. Part of that. Why do we need this? Now I get Joshua coming back. but they're milking us with these fights. Tyson Fury will get another tune-up. You know, if Shakur fights, he goes to Zuffa, he probably gets a easy matchup. Richard Hitchinson just went to Zuffa. It looks like he's going to get a tune-up over there. We had this fight. Remember Rolly Romero, Devin Haney? That fell through. Manny Pacquiao fell through. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. What's Ryan Garcia doing? This is the problem with boxing, man. David Benavidez, see, these fights would be okay. Brandon, Michelin, some of these names, Vidal Riley, they don't really whet the appetite. It doesn't bring a lot of interest. These fights would be okay if they fought often. But David Benavidez fights 1 or 2 times a year. It's hard to get behind him. And they're going to say all these things not to fight Japataya. And you take a Michelin fight, but he only fights once a year. It doesn't help his case. It doesn't help us as fans. It doesn't help doing content. What can you really do? The WBC almost went bankrupt because of them protecting Roy Jones during the 90s. Remember when boxing was free? Wild Water Sports, NBC. Yeah, you know what, man? I mean, when I became a fan, it was already pay-per-view, HBO. But my uncles and grandparents, they remember the days it was on the network TV. And it's not even on network TV anymore. I mean, PBC tried it. And before I shit on boxing, right? Before I shit on boxing, I'm not going to ever shit on boxing because I'm a degenerate junkie and I'll always keep coming back. I just feel like they play too many games. And really, if I do boxing content, I got to call it like I see it. Steve Kim says boxing is a series of business deals dressed up as a sport. And that's really what it is, man. If you look at Frank Bay, a BDA has entered the building. Hopefully it's the real BDA. I don't know if the BDA, do you have any troll accounts to pretend they're you? You ain't somebody until somebody pretends to be you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on, man. Yeah. People in the past have pretended to be me.
They have BDA bot accounts?
I don't know about bot accounts. I know he was a real person. And anyway, long story short, yeah, there are people who have tried it.
Okay. So, Mr. BDA, before you elaborate with your eloquent vocabulary, am I being too hard? Am I shitting on boxing? Because I don't want to be labeled a hater.
I think you're right on the money to have complaints, man. There's ebbs and flows with boxing. Sometimes it's on a roll, and then it goes back to business as usual, and that's when people tend to complain. And right now, you have plenty to complain about. I mean, I like how you're being a guy who looks at the glass half full right now with Shakur Stevenson saying, "Oh, well, at least if this deal comes through with Zuffa, you don't have to pay for it." But I mean, I'm thinking, look, I was crossing my fingers, and you know this, but I was crossing my fingers hoping that Zuffa would try to change things and maybe improve some of the wrongs from boxing, or rather right some of the wrongs in boxing. But this is a bad move, man. I mean, would you agree that it's just a flex from Zuffa at this point?
Signing Shakur Stevenson?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they said they were going to do, right? They came to take over.
But it's a flex because they're signing a guy who's already 28 years old.
Oh, okay.
What's the word I'm looking for? Remember, I don't know if you recall the days of HBO when they had The Sopranos, they had the 6 Feet Under, they had a lot of success with these drama shows. They had a lot of money coming in. They pretty much could do whatever they wanted. And The Wire, that was another one of their drama shows, and it wasn't really garnering that many ratings. In fact, if memory serves me right, the ratings for each season were going down each subsequent season. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. So finally, they decided to kibosh it. But for years, they poured money into this. And people were saying, well, why are they putting money into something that doesn't generate ratings? And keep in mind, HBO didn't really, like I said, they didn't rely on ratings back then, or even now, because it's a premium cable show. They don't rely on advertisers like network TV. So the reason why they were putting money into it is because they had so much money. And they knew that particularly academics like The Wire, they like the show from a sociological standpoint. They love to talk, oh, look at this and look at the subtext of what they're talking about. They're actually talking about Lacanian theories. And like, what the fuck? So it was a flex It was a
Right.
flex.
Okay.
It
I
was
get
their
it.
way of saying, look, we'll give you The Sopranos, which is a very good show. We'll give you this. We'll give you boxing, but we also give you the little nuggets, the little diamonds in the rough that are they're hidden away. They were willing to lose money. This is the same thing that Zuffa is doing. It's a flex. They're putting money into a guy who is, listen, the casual fans aren't going to break their backs to watch him. Boxing fans like you and me are already having to. It's a chore to watch this guy fight, unless he's fighting somebody
Mhm.
at top level like Teofimo Lopez. So what's really the end game here? Do they really think this guy's going to improve the organization? That it's going to grow in terms of entertainment? It's a flex. It's a
I'm
financial
sorry.
flex.
Kate Breezen said BDA hated The Wire but loves Sex in the City.
No, I didn't hate. First of all, I didn't hate The Wire, and no, I didn't watch Sex and the City. I like The Wire, but what I'm saying is a lot of people didn't care for it. They didn't even bother watching it.
Yeah, it
That's a prime
became
example, by the way.
right.
Sex and the City, from what I understand, was a highly degenerate show,
Mhm.
bad morals, dare I say, satanic black magic type of shit. And meanwhile, The Wire, nobody was watching it.
Yeah, it was a hipster thing. It was
Hmm.
kind of one of those wink, wink. Oh, you watch The Wire. I'm cool. It didn't become good until until after it went off.
Exactly, and it's like, yeah, it's also a way for certain people of a certain shade of color, paler type of colors. They like to go up to other people and go, no, no, I'm cool, I'm cool. I like The Wire. I
Right.
like The Wire. It's like we can bond over The Wire. No, you can't, because even
Yeah, yeah.
Afro-Anglos didn't watch The Wire.
Come on, Marlo. Oh
There
man,
you
you're
go.
hip. Nah, okay. So the Zufa signing, yeah, I mean signing Shakur Stevenson is just is like you said, a flex. It doesn't really do anything for their brand because look, what I think is gonna happen, they're gonna start charging more. It's a reason them for to start charging more. And what if they do pay-per-views? They can justify it by signing this guy. I know what happens in like with the NBA baseball teams and football teams. They'll do a free agent signing, and then they'll raise Coke prices, hot dog
Mhm.
prices, like kind of like, well, we just we're signing guys to the team, so we got to raise the prices.
Uh, I mean, how can they not, man? If they're spending this much money, eventually, it's almost like the Zone too. Yeah, the Zone started out with a lot of money
Exactly.
too. They had a lot of investors, and then what happens? Little by little, no pay-per-views goes to BS pay-per-views. Then almost every other big fight is pay-per-view, or not even a big fight, just significant fights.
Yeah, and the other thing is, okay, he signed a Zufa, right? So it looks like there's a war brewing. If you were listening, with the David Benavidez, so does that mean now he's not gonna fight for belts and he's just gonna fight in Zufa World? So now he doesn't have to fight the other names like the other champions. Um, who is he gonna fight in Zufa?
It's a good question. I mean, look, Jayo Pitaya, people are crapping on him for all. Well, he shouldn't have signed with Zuffa. First of all, we already established yesterday that Dana White is open for allowing Zuffa fighters to fight in non-Zuffa events. And the fact that when Jayo Pitaya fought Brandon Glanton, he was paying for the IBF belt. He was paying the sanctioning fee, meaning Zuffa is allowing these people to fight for belts. I don't know. It just reeks of an excuse when people say, well, how are they going to fight on Zuffa when Zuffa doesn't want to work with the sanctioning body? So far, they have. It's the sanctioning bodies that don't want to work with them now because they're afraid. So that's out the window. Now, to your question, Jayo Pitaya, is he just going to fight in Zuffa World? The guy had no real options. Matchroom wasn't doing a good job with him. They kept him locked into the Gold Coast Convention Center. Now, fighting at the
Yeah.
Gold Coast Convention Center is like being on the wire. It's a good flex for your hipster friends. Like, hey, yeah, I'll watch the wire, but it's not gonna do much for you in terms of actual what's the word I'm looking for here? Like mainstream attraction. And so that's the same thing would happen with Opetaya. So now the sanctioning bodies don't want to work with Zufa. Yeah, he might be stuck in fighting for that weird Zufa belt that they have. That's all he might.
Yeah,
That and
that
the ring belt.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I could be wrong. A lot of times, I'm just speculating right now. But if it's true, I mean, I just seen this today. Like I'm sure you've seen it. It's the big news. Shakur Stevenson signing with Zufa, and but now with the belt organization stepping in between Benavidez and Mikaelian, that makes me wonder. Like you said, that the belt organizations are pretty much saying we're not gonna fuck with Zuffa. So now I'm thinking that's gonna mean the same thing for Shakur Stevenson. And I think he has, what belt does he have at somebody help me, the belt at his weight division at 140? I know he's ring lenio, whatever that means, right? But as far as actual belt, it's the WBC, right?
I thought it was a WBO at 140.
Okay,
I think
it's
that's the only one.
WBO.
I seem to. Well, let me double check, man. He has the super lightweight, Elton Smith, Richard Hitchens. He's got the WBO, Ring Magazine, and WBO.
Okay, that's right. Dalton Smith, I believe, has the WBC one.
Yes.
And I
And
think
he's
it
a
was
Cruz. He's the interim champion, whatever the fuck that is nowadays.
yeah, okay. Well, I was confused because he had the WBC 135 title, and then he refused it. He dropped it and basically said belts don't matter. So that's why I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah, I'm
remember he was
confused
gonna
too.
talk about going back down to 135. He was kind of contemplating staying at 140. I don't know. I might go to 135. That was because he had the WBC belt, and then they stripped him, I believe.
The lightweight, yeah, I think that was the whole thing that he was crying about it. Now, I want to ask you though. Now, if he does indeed go to Zuffa, which I don't know why Eddie Hearn would lie, so it looks like it might be a reality. What's the game plan for Shakur Stevenson over at Zuffa?
That's the question. They just got Richardson Hitchens.
But they're brothers, right?
Yeah, there's a really suspect picture that I showed earlier of them like naked and shirts off. And
Okay, now
like,
they were,
nah,
they were naked.
come on, they were. You know, they were naked. You know, they were like they were naked. They just he forgot to put his shirt on. Like, oh shit, you didn't wipe your shirt off, bro. You know.
Hey, but by the way, did you see the other thing that Hitchens posted on along with that picture?
Like about how they grew up, like he helped them out.
Yeah, he helped him out. He had Shakur Stevenson had a Gatorade Powerade or something commercial, and he actually put him in the commercial. I'm thinking, how many people is he not gonna fight? We already know Hitchens. He doesn't want to fight him. He doesn't want to fight Keyshawn Davis. I think Lamont Roach said, like, nah, let's just keep doing our thing, brother. And they high-fived each other through the internet. And Gary Antoine Russell is the guy who preemptively said, no, keep making us look good. I want to work my way up. So work your way up. I'm telling you, Frank, there's something weird surrounding Shakur Stevenson, and I wouldn't be surprised if the X factor here is James Prince.
Oh, that he invites him to parties and gets him. He's doing some kind of Shakur Steen files.
I don't know. All I know is Shakur Stevenson doesn't want to fight. Like, there's 3-4 guys that he doesn't want to fight.
Well, it makes sense. Honestly, it's strategic. Look, all these guys spar each other, right? At the top level, they've all crossed paths at one time or the other. And Oshaki Foster, that's what he said. He says, man, this guy, he wants to befriend you because he wants to spy on you. If he feels like you're a threat or could one day be a threat, he wants to get in your camp or have you come to his camp or have one of his friends go to your camp so that he gets intel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really him kind of playing this like spy versus spy game with his contemporaries. That's what I think.
Makes sense. But yeah, then the point remains. Then the question remains: what is the overall game plan for Shakur Stevenson at Zuffa? What's his place over there? Because he's not going to fight Richardson Hitchens unless, and this is going to be the litmus test, really, if you think about it, Frank. Let's say he doesn't want to. Let's say Dana White, because Dana White is just a figurehead at this point. I don't even know if he's really the guy that's going to be on the floor day to day running Zuffa. But whoever's in charge, they're gonna go. They go up to Shakur Stevenson like, "Hey, you and Richardson Hitchens are fighting." Nah, man, that's my brother. That's my brother. Are they gonna allow that, or are they gonna put their foot down, and say, "Fucker, you work for us"? Because remember what the contracts say, and I don't know if the contracts are the same for everybody, but it said that if you refuse a fight, it counts as, what did they say? It counts as a forfeit or something like that in your contract. Like there's a penalty for it, in other words.
Yeah, they can just put you on the shelf.
Oh. So like I said, maybe this is the litmus test. Maybe this is what we're going to see what Zuffa's made of. And if they push certain fights and that if their fighters refuse, like, hey, guess what, fucker? You don't fight then at all.
I think Shakur Stevenson is the outlier. I think he has the options. They're not going to force him to face the face the fights. But what I think they can do is have these lower level guys. That's their leverage on the lower level guys. Like, look, you can sign with us and you can get a Stevenson fight, Once you're locked into that, then you can't deny any fights, or you're not gonna get that shot. So he'll be kind of like the queen on the board, and these other guys have to fall in line to get that shot.
I'm thinking here. I'm thinking about what you said. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. Maybe some of these big names. That's because why? I mean, you think that it's true. You think that guy would sign a contract if they have him, if they have the choice to force him into a fight? He's not gonna go for that.
No. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a co-promoter, that he has his own separate deal, especially with him and James Prince. He's not gonna be like did you remember that guy Hammer Hands, Julian Card at welterweight?
I think so. Yeah.
He was on one of the last cards. Like, he has one of those shitty deals. Like, he has to fight everybody. But I'm pretty sure Shakur and even maybe Hitchinson's to an extent have their own kind of quasi deals where they work things into their favor.
Man, that sucks. But yeah, I mean, what?
Yeah.
What is I don't understand what the plan is. So you sign Shakur Stevenson, now it's a flex. Now you're showing everybody, hey, we got deep pockets. And then what? How many fights is this for, by the way?
There's no details yet. This is still a rumor, but it looks to be pretty valid, as you know, Boxing Scene is putting it out there. Eddie Hearn put it out there. So that's a good guess. I mean, that's the $1 million question, right? Like, BDA Hearn capping, he didn't sign with Zuffa. So everybody's going to look stupid if it's not true. Mm-hmm. But if no, go ahead.
Do you think maybe it's a play by there's a, like you say, there's an angle. Maybe Eddie Hearn is saying this because he wants to create a shitstorm somewhere for some sort of benefit.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, yeah, that could be true. I mean, he caught wind that something was going on, and he just put it out there. But he's like a guy that he doesn't just say things just to say them. He's not a Oscar, right? Like, kind of, I'm just gonna speak my mind and whatever comes out, and then I have to retract it. Like, Eddie's a snake, right? Isn't that what people call him?
Yeah, that's right. And
Rick Glazer has like a hard on for that guy.
Oh yeah, that dude.
He's back. He's back on the X.
Yeah, he wouldn't be. He couldn't stay away.
He loves to talk. You never had him on the BDA show?
No, I spoke to him a couple of times when I was on TBS's show.
Oh yeah, because he goes anywhere.
Okay, but you make it sound like that. You make that sound like it's so lowly. Like, yeah, he'll go anywhere they have him. Anywhere they'll have him, he'll go.
I'm gonna tell you why, because I was on another podcast, a guy I used to listen to. Then he kind of went in left field, but he told me, he's like, I would just listen, like I listened to your show before I start talking. He had me on his panel a couple of times. And he says, "Hey, would you like to join me, Rick Glazer?" I'm like, "Yeah." And Rick gets on, and he's like, "Yeah, I only got 20 minutes, and I just want to stop by because I told you I was going to." So he was like kind of big timing, right? And then after we got off, he was like, "Oh man, that Rick." And then the next time he goes, "Hey man, this guy calls me and asks me to be on. I don't know why he does that."
No, that can't be, man.
No, he did. I was like, yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, damn, like, why he come at you? He's like eating carrots, like, just kind of like, oh, let me eat this hot dog while talking to you. Just like
yeah, I'm so busy.
Yeah. And I didn't believe him, but that's why I said I seen him everywhere. So I'm like, yeah, he probably does that. Why does he do that? He would do it everywhere he went. He'd act like he was big timing them. Like, yeah, I came by because I wanted to help your show out. Like, get the fuck out of here.
What? Yeah. What was the what was he saying? He's like, so essentially, just clarify. So he'll show up. He'll ask the guy to be on. Then when they have him on, he's like, "Hey, listen, I can't really stay too much, but I'm just because I promised you I'd be." He was like, "What? Okay."
Exactly.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, man, Rick calls me asking if he can come on." I'm like, damn, that blew my mind. I was like, damn, I thought he was like, doing you a favor. He's like, nah, man, that guy calls me asking when I'm gonna go on again.
Interesting. Yeah, because he's at the time that he was on TBS, he was like, he has his phone there, and he's like, yeah, I'm available 24/7.
Exactly.
I don't sleep. And it's like, all right. And then somebody called him out on it on the Twitter. Somebody says like this guy works with like 2-3 low level fighters that nobody knows about, and he pretends like he's in the business, but he knows his. I mean, you can under. The other day, who was it? Somebody was complaining about the money because somebody said that pointing out that Crawford versus Canelo did a 60 something million gate, and they said, oh, that's not enough to cover the money that both of them have, blah blah blah, and the both of them were paid, and that the Greg Glacier pointed out, which I don't know how the other guy missed it. It's like, hey, Netflix paid him a lot of money up front to be able to air that fight, to have the rights for that. It's a lot of money, so that's how they covered or not. But the other guy was just focusing on the gate. So yeah, so Greg Glacier,
he's in. I mean, look, I'll say that, but I don't know. He just kind of comes across as kind of big timing. I don't like that. But I mean, I seen him at the fights. I think he'd be at the fights with Oscar. That's what he says. And
there was
they have pictures of him out there.
There's a guy that I think I've mentioned it on the show. Manager Marty. Marty.
Yeah.
And he's a Philadelphia guy, I think. He sounds like Bernard Hopkins, by the way. But he's a sharp fella. Particularly when he was really poking holes at the whole snack thing. And how, anyway, but I recommend that show. And I was browsing through his shows one day, and I found that he had Rick Glacier on. And Rick Glacier's an anti-PBC guy. And look, he makes some great points. But you can tell that he has there's also something personal. And I think maybe sometimes that's what he'll swerve and say things that aren't really true or maybe not exact. So anyway, the manager Marty was pressing him on it. And the Rick Glacier started getting heated and started interrupting, and then manager Marty's like, hey, hold on, Rick, you ain't going to talk to me like that, because he started talking, he really started being disrespectful, like, I don't think he said boy, but something along those lines, like, hey, you don't talk to me like that, boy. And then
he said boy?
No, he didn't say, he said something disrespectful, and manager Marty cut him off real quick. He said, listen, you're not going to talk to me that way. And then he muted Rick Glacier. He was like, oh, hold on, Rick, I got to mute you now because you're being disrespectful. And then the guy left. As soon as he muted him, and then he was like, I ain't going to be on if you're muting me, blah, blah, blah. It's like, he does have a short fuse.
Ricky Glacier?
Ricky, that's how you're going to call him now, Ricky.
Well, I mean, I don't know the guy. Like, I don't know. Like I said, he rubs me the wrong way. Maybe he does, but a classic before I make it a Rick Glacier show is he was on another podcast, and he was talking with Rachel Donaire. And I guess they had beef. And he said he was just grilling her like, oh, no, she wasn't on it. He was just trashing her, saying she just manages one fighter. And then she got on it, and he ran off. He was like, I'm not going to be on here. Rachel's here. But he was going on her about just managing one fighter. He said because she's a woman. I guess he doesn't deal with women in boxing.
Oh,
he's kind of a misogynist in that respect.
So you're saying you prefer reading him on Twitter than actually hearing him speak? That's what you're saying?
I used to, but now I'm not gonna follow him. If I've been seeing him lately, and I remember he's always called Eddie Hearn a snake. That's how he's come up in the conversation. And with Eddie saying these things, Eddie's very snakish. What's a better word? Because I don't know these guys.
Weaselly, sneaky.
A weasel.
He's a weasel. Man.
So,
well, you know, Rick Glacier's Jewish.
Is he the big J, small J?
I'm just saying. I'm just asking you. Did you know that he was Jewish?
No, I thought he always come across like an Italiano.
That's exactly why I mentioned it, because he sounds like an Italian, and I've seen that in New York. Particularly, I don't know if he's from New York, but I've seen that from New York people, particularly those who live around Bensonhurst. The Bensonhurst people. They're like, hey, and then I think around those parts, that's where Jewish people live too. Obviously not Orthodox Jews, but I'm talking like, what do they call them? Reform Jews or whatever. Okay. And they tend to, like Andrew Dice Clay, his whole character, he's Italian, but meanwhile he's Jewish.
He's cosplaying.
Or maybe that's just the way they talk in those neighborhoods. I don't know.
I think so. In all those Boston movies, and everybody tries to mimic it.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. But you were saying, it's interesting you used the word snake referring to Hearn.
Well, no, that's what Rick Glacier.
Right.
Calling him a snake.
Snake is an interesting word, because all of these people are essentially all of these dudes that are involved. Like Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is pretty good, don't you think? Doing the PR.
He's good. Look, that's what I'm saying. Is like he's great at his job, right? Like I can shit on these guys. I mean, I'm shitting on PBC Al Heyman, but he's good at what he does. Like I think that's the barometer for success is are you good at your job? If they weren't good, would they be where they're at? Well, I think Eddie Hearn's a nepo baby, right?
Yes, yes, and but it's interesting. He puts the work in. I mean, he's traveling constantly. He's going from
Yeah.
place to place, working on
Banging
deals,
hot babes.
banging.
Like
Well, he's banging that allegedly, right? Allegedly that.
alleged. Yeah, we got to be careful.
But
Sky,
what's the name?
she's pretty hot though.
What's the
And
name
he's
of
married,
the?
I think.
What's her name?
Sky Nicholson.
Sky Nicholson. I'll take it to the sky. No, but you know what? It's interesting. But that's the thing about that's what I'm saying about Eddie Hearn, because like Rick Glacier, he will go to podcast. He'll give people the time.
Yeah,
He's pretty
that's
friendly.
true.
He's got a dry sense of humor, and so
Are you trying to invite him, BDA? 'Cause
you
I'm
look at
being
that
a
guy. He's
hater.
not a promoter. He's
Oh wait, you talking about?
well.
Rick
If I do
Glazer or
invite him,
Eddie
he
Hearn?
won't be on.
Okay, I'll.
Look about Eddie
I
Hearn.
won't
Eddie
interfere.
Hearn.
Okay, yeah.
Eddie Hearn will go. He will go to podcast. He has a good sense of humor. He's like a down to earth guy, and so you forget he's a promoter, and he probably cuts corners and all that. But there's people, but it doesn't seem that way because he's so accessible. It sort of diffuses any type of allegation about him being a snake or whatever. But I mean, come on, you have to assume that all of these guys, De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, the Cubas, who else am I missing? The promoters over in Germany, they all got they're all looking
Well,
out for themselves at
Samson,
the end.
we were talking about Samson the other day. He's actually a promoter. I didn't realize. Like, I was arguing with somebody, and they were like, "Benavidez is with the promoter." I always thought Samson was just a manager, but he's actually a promoter too, I believe.
Yeah. Sometimes I get confused. I forget that he's a promoter and not a manager.
There was another guy, Russell Peltz, I believe. He did like Star, and he was kind of like a Chad.
Russell, he wasn't from Philadelphia, was he? Or
He
maybe I'm
might have
confusing him
been. He
with
was
another
like
guy. There was
a
another one,
lower level
legendary.
promoter. I think the Duvas were promoters, right? They had
Yeah, the
what
dude
was
was
your-
they had You know who
and there was
those guys disappeared? I mean, Goosen,
Go ahead.
Dan Goosen disappeared. Gary
Yeah, he
Shaw
was a
disappeared.
promoter,
Well,
right?
they died. They passed away.
Oh,
Hmm.
welcome, Servino. I don't. You're just like lurking.
Nah, you was just listening to you guys. I didn't want to
Okay.
interrupt. How's it going, guys?
He was
Good,
stalking
good.
us.
Thank you. Hit the like. He heard Rick
You're supposed to
Glazer
say that, BDA.
Mandarin popped up. BDA.
I'm just a fly on the wall, you know. I'm the overseer.
La Mosca.
I can show none of you act uppity. Not
You're
just
Rick
playing.
Glazer's homeboy. Check us.
Maybe, perhaps.
Or Eddie Hearn spy.
Hey, listen. I just here to do a drive-by. Alright?
Oh,
No doubt.
Nah, I'm just playing. Nah, cause I was like over, listening earlier, but have to walk my dog and make some coffee and But I was listening in the background. I got lost a little bit. Then I come back and you guys talking about Italian shit. uh, so isn't it that funny? I heard you talking about the Shakur Foster Raymond Ford fight and how Shakur was huffing and puffing, acting aggressively, calling him this guy a bitch and all that, But he doesn't have the energy for any other 140 pounder like Russell, Smith, Puello, that he's all of a sudden he has all that energy and all all these Twitter fingers for this guy at like 2 weight classes below.
Well, he's been like that, hasn't he?
And the funny thing is, even if he fights him, it will be like for no belt because he doesn't have a belt. And I'm 135, if I remember correctly. I think he got stripped.
Who? That's what we were talking about earlier, Shakur. But that the news is now he's going to Zuffa, and now we're questioning if it's true. Kind of bringing it back full circle.
I think it's true. I think it's true. So what Sufa is doing is what the UFC did at one point, which is buying over the contracts from like Glory and K1 and shit like that. That was that initial guys that had like a good contract back in the day, so they couldn't talk shit about the UFC at the beginning, like Rampage Jackson, and I think Silva, their contracts rolled over the UFC. So that's why they got paid like I think Rampage Jackson got paid like $7 million for his last fight. And,
you made something interesting. So talking about the signing with Zuffa, so I wonder how that they must have to way overpay because I think that's what Eddie Hearn was saying. They have to be way overpaying because how are they going to pay him if there's not pay per view, unless Zuffa Paramount plan on doing boxing pay per views, right?
So the thing is, before they were counting on the on the cheeks money, and that was like the guy who was giving like the Crawford money because that Crawford Canelo fight was a Sufa event. It was under that thing, but I don't know if you guys know, but that Cheeks money it will go down because of the the problem going on, with with Iran and things like that. But
Yeah, but
the
what I'm
money's going
saying is
somewhere else.
if they gave Conor Ben 15 million, right? They would have to give Shakur 30 million, right?
That was
That's
still
almost
part
Canelo
of
money.
that was still part of the that's that's also part of Al Sheikh money. Right after they get disconnected from the Al Sheikh, they're gonna count on like their own contracts. And if you ever read that contract, I hope you can Google and share it on the screen for
Yeah, well,
the humble people watching. Those contracts are fucking poison pills, man. They're like so fucking bad that they even have rights over like the fighters' tattoos. Yeah, even the bad ones, dude.
But they should. They should. But you see how extreme these things are. On the one hand, they're overpaying a guy like Shakur Stevenson and Conor Ben, and then on the other hand, they got these other dudes in indented servitude, pretty much, according to some people. I don't know. So I mean, it's like it's black and white. It's
Yeah,
how are they gonna
B,
reconcile that?
but BDA, here's the thing though. You think they're gonna give all that money without stipulations?
But that's what I'm
Like, trust me,
saying.
man.
It's
They're
like
gonna have these guys like dancing like puppets.
well, I gotta
All of a
tell you,
sudden, you're
man.
gonna see Shakur Stevenson, on YouTube ads, for like Sufa or like like the cereal or cornflakes or some shit, and it will be like Sufa. Everything Sufa. He will be like the speaker, the spokesperson. He will be in the camps. You know, Eh,
Well,
the thing
he
is,
should be
his
sent. He
contract
should
rolled
be sent to a
over.
camp. That's true.
His
whoa.
contract rolled over from Top Rank, but also his contract have to get rid of sponsor like Reebok and things like that. So he will be just like exclusively Sufa now. Like all those guys will be exclusively Sufa.
Well, that's the interesting thing is because they've got two extreme poles, and they're gonna want to try to find a middle ground for that. Because, like I said, they're overpaying certain guys, and then they're treating the other guy. And by the way, they're not treating them badly. Because I mean, okay, look, the whole thing with the trunks and the sponsorships and the tattoos and controlling owning their image, that is something that's a negative. On the other hand, a lot of these dudes are people from the land of lost toys. It's like they're unwanted. Nobody's really signing them up. I mean,
Mhm.
how is Tito Mercado, who should be going to Zuffa right now, how is he not like Golden Boy had him? Oh, we don't know what to do. You got a guy who's a big puncher and who's a talker. That's what the Twitter crowd loves nowadays. Oh, they can't
So
do
the
anything with
reason
him.
that,
Same thing with Jao Petaya. So that's why these guys are signing with Zuffa, because not for nothing, but a lot of these dudes that don't have anything going from other promotional entities, they're getting paid decent money to fight on Zuffa.
so I'm with you on that part, right? Like for
Of course you are.
the Eastern European guys and, and all that. Yeah, I'm with you on that part. And the guys like they're not really that known. Guys like they fight usually play on Pro Box, right?
Mhm.
But the reason they're not signing everyone is because one, they don't want to take over a contract that is too long, like 3 years or like 9 fights. They want to take over a contract that only like on either the last fight or the last 2 3 fights, right? So like they actually can like grab these guys with like diabolic sofa contracts, right? That's like the way they're gonna like have these guys like attached to it, because that in one part of that contract says that if you go into like giving on a winning streak, you get resigned for like 3 more years. It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I heard about that. And you know what? Look, though, I mean, this at least it gives them set fights. Because the problem nowadays, and Steve Kim's been talking about this for years now, inactivities become a big problem. A lot of these dudes only fight once a
Definitely.
year. I mean, take for example a guy like Caleb Plant. He's supposed to be one of the top super middleweights, and yet he only fights once a year, and he doesn't have anything lined up right now. How is that possible? How is a guy? How does a guy not have anything lined up? Devin Haney, and he's another guy who's part of the problem, because I think what Eddie Hearn said months ago is true, that these guys, him and his father or whatever, they're overpricing themselves, And what's my evidence for that? Look at everyone that's fought near or around the last time he fought. On the same card that he fought in, David Benavidez fought. He was the main event, and he already fought this year. Brian Norman Jr. already had a fight this year. When he lost to Haney, he's already fought once. Bam Rodriguez was on the same card. He already fought. I think Puma Martinez already fought as well. Maybe I'm wrong. Ryan Garcia already fought this year. I mean, these dudes already have fights lined up, and then they're fighting. Haney hasn't fought at all. And not for nothing, but if you get a solid company like Zuffa, who's constantly giving you dates, and they got set dates and from an actual network, that's listen. We're always talking about, how do we make boxing better? How do we improve boxing? There's a couple of things. Apply the rules. No more clinching. No more dipping below the waist. The best have to fight the best, and number 3, they have to fight often. Think about it. How come back in the day, fighters got so much better? And I'm talking, let's go to an extreme. Let's go to the 40s and 50s. Because these guys were fighting 10, 12 fights a year, 12 times a year, 10 or 12 times. That you're going to improve. Yeah, you can burn yourself out too. But if you're fighting some bum here or there and you're actually practicing certain things, and then 3 fights later, you fight an actual fucking contender, and people are seeing them often. Nowadays, like a guy like Edwin Vasquez, for example, he gave Raymond Ford a very tough fight. A lot of people feel he got robbed in that one. He gives Cordina hell. Then he got his ass beat by Espinoza. But you can see that he's a quality guy. Imagine if that guy was with Pro Boxer with Paramount on Zuffa. He's entertaining, he's skilled. He could be playing his trade and earning good money. But if he sticks with Top Rank, I think he's with Top Rank.
Is the same problem that we're talking about for years. Is the weight bullying problem. You can't be asking like most of these guys to do what, like 3, even 2 fight camps in a year. Like it's really like taxing to them, because after like even like a regular weightlifting program, you have to take like 2 or 3 weeks off. After a fight, you have to take a couple of months off, or like regardless, they suspend you for like 2 months. So imagine you recovering from all that like weight loss, because the thing is, right after a weight cut, you blow like in weight regardless. You get all that weight like back. That's why these guys that look like balloons on when they're not fighting. So you ask, well, allegedly we asking a lot for to these guys, because they it's a lot of it's really taxing to their bodies. You know what I mean? I'm not playing any violins for these motherfuckers, but I'm just saying that I think that's like one of the reasons they don't fight as much as before. Because back then people, they were probably just fighting at the walking around weight, and if they were making any weight, was like in the camps, because boxing is it's a weight cut sport. And
well, I understand that you're explaining why they don't fight that often, but keep in mind, I went to an extreme.
One of the reasons, I'm not saying like that's the main reason.
But I'm not saying that they should be fighting 10, 12 times a year like they did in the 40s, but I'm saying 3, 4 times. I mean, isn't it outrageous that some of the top pound guys aren't fighting more than once a year?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, of course, not 12, but like, for example, I just watched your video on your channel, the Oscar La Hoya fight like 5 times during a year, and and you asking why these guys are Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Like, and they were not like just guys like down the middle. They were actually ranked fighters. They can actually give a good fight to anyone. But you don't see nothing from these guys. You see these guys hopping and puffing over Twitter, hopping and puffing, calling guys two weight classes below. I think Benavidez put that on style.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's. I mean, Steve Kim always gives the example of, imagine there's your favorite restaurant, and they're only open once or twice a year. Like, they're gonna go out of business pretty quickly. I mean, how does that work?
Also, that's like a kibosh they put. I mean, at least Shakur is putting on. Oh, I can't find none of these 140-pounders. Look, I'm making 135 to fight this guy who's been running his mouth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
She's
the
probably
other
gonna
thing.
fight this guy at 135.
You said mention him fighting often enough. Like Diego Pacheco, remember him? Like, holy shit, man, where's he been?
Yeah, but he's on the PBC. You know how it is.
No, Diego Pacheco's with the Zone. I think he has a fight coming up in
oh yeah, he's with Mushroom
in July. But if he could fight 5 times a year, he'd already have like 30 fights and be ready for these championships. He's still
The thing
under.
about Pacheco is, I think he's one of those guys. He's on limbo. Like we don't know if he's a prospect or he's a full blown pro. Because to me, he's not a prospect anymore, right? But they've been treating this guy like he's a prospect, like feeding him. We had barely tough fights and shit like that. When he's like 20 fights in, 18 fights in, like it's already time to step it up.
Yeah, but he should be
And
fighting, man, at least 4 times a year. And for the past 2 years, I think he's had maybe one or two
at least
fights.
bumps, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about inactivity. Look, I can deal with bums if you're fighting 4 or 5 times a year. Like, okay, I don't expect every fight to be the championship fight. But like this David Benavidez situation, David Benavidez has fought once or twice for the past 4 years. And it's like, no, you can't have a Michelin, you can't have a tune-up. You got to go straight to the big fights, fighting 2 times a year, if you're gonna do that.
That's a great point. That's why when people were complaining about Usyk and fighting Verhoeven, it's like, oh, he's ducking Caballero, blah blah blah. I'm thinking, well, let's wait and see what happens after the Verhoeven fight. And look now that WBC is getting in here and they're saying, yeah, official, you have to fight Caballero. Usyk now seems to be open to fighting Caballero, whereas before he was like, oh, maybe Wilder, maybe Fury a third time. Now he's like, yeah, let's. And he's noticing that people want that fight, and he's saying, okay, yeah, let's do it. So it's like you said, it's like when Canelo fought Yildirim. People are like, well, why is he fighting somebody else? Well, look, you wait and see what happened. He ended up fighting 2 more times that year against top opposition. So people tend to
Also, it could
hyperventilate
be
whenever a fight gets announced.
also it could be like I'm just throwing like conspiracies out there. Also, it could be like in a funny around way to Usyk say, I know I'm going out, I feel it, I'm kind of old, so instead of going out, with Rico, I'm going out, with a banger, with Cavalier, win, lose or draw. If you lose, I lose. Did whatever, 3 times undisputed. In my opinion, just twice, but whatever. Um, I think he's in that thinking, going with a going out with a banger.
Well, I mean, Caballero, I don't know if that's a banger, but I mean, I guess people are demanding it now, because he stepped in the ring and everything. But when would that happen? Next year? He ain't fighting again this year, right?
Who's not fighting again this year? What?
Usyk.
He
If
might
fought
do it
Wilson
in
in
November.
May. No, but I'm just speculating. We're talking about these guys being active. It's like, like this is not. I don't think it's a big fight. Not like the names like a Wilder or Joshua or Fury. Like Caballero's kind of like he's not a name yet. So Usyk fighting him, I don't think would be a big fight, especially for us in the States. But Kerry, give me 1 second. Can you guys hold it down real quick?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, look, I would assume Usyk would fight again this year, especially after because he's the type of guy, he doesn't seem to be on the internet or whatever, at least not that I know of. And usually when they mention certain people, it's like, who, what? Like he doesn't seem to be very aware of who's who. So but I would assume that now it's getting back to him. Like, look, this Verhoeven thing, it made you look bad. I mean, whether you think the scorecards, because again, some people were complaining that the Manic scorecard was a little bit too wide. Well, not Manic, Coppinger too. I think Coppinger had him losing every other round or something like that. I mean, I think he only gave Usyk 2 rounds up until the stoppage. So I think Usyk is starting to realize, yeah, look, I can't go out looking like this against a kickboxer. And the guy that some people have been saying is the boogeyman, and some people have been accusing Usyk of docking, is Caballero. So if it behooves him to fight this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, he can. I mean, unless he surprised us and he's like, "Oops, I retire," and he pull up he
He
pull
pulls a
up
Crawford.
Fury. Yeah. Well, yeah, Crawford too.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, you never know. At that age, with a guy like that who's done it all, Olympic gold medalist, 2-time 2-division champion. I mean, yeah, it's you never know. But hopefully he doesn't. Because I want to see what happens with Caballero. And that's the interesting thing about Caballero. Look, that Frank Sanchez win did end up aging well after what Sanchez did to Torres. The Mike Mudo fight, not so much, but he took out a younger, well, not younger, but a bigger fighter. And then the Zhang fight, that's the one that really impressed. Because I mean, a lot of these heavyweights, they don't go to the body. And even when they go to the body, it seems like he has no effect. But this dude just kept chopping away. Zhang, I was rewatching the fight the other day. Zhang looked like he wanted to cry in there every time he got hit with a body shot. I mean, when you can make a big dude like that squirm like that on body shots, then you got some deadly attack in there. So The big question would be, hey, how would Usyk handle that? And that's interesting because last year, especially after Usyk beat Dubois, people that was one of the peaks of Usyk mania. It's like, well, nobody can beat him now because who can beat him there? Maybe only Caballero, and now he looks bad against Verhoeven. All of a sudden, it's switching around. Now some people are even giving Opetaya a chance to beat Usyk. Not that many, but it started. The perception started to change now. That Usyk, hey, he might be past it, and he's not the same guy anymore. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, man. But like I said, it's interesting how things change, and that's how it always is. We only remember the last fight. So with Usyk, because he only fights once a year. For 6 months, all we remember is, well, look at how he took out Dubois, a bigger guy who had been improving, made him quit again. He's punching now with more panache. Fantastic. Look at that. Then he looks bad against Verhoeven. Now he's overrated. Don't ever mention him with Muhammad Ali again. How dare you mention him and Ali in the same breath, blah, blah, blah. That's how things change, man.
His mustache was ridiculous, everything under the book,
Exactly. But we'll see what happens with Usyk, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Caballero fight. Hopefully it happens. And I don't see too many people itching to get into a Caballero other than Usyk. I mean, why would Dubois get in there with him? Why would Joshua get in there with him? By the way, Joshua was at the press conference for that guy he's fighting. And that, people like to throw out the word bomb for opponents. I'm sorry to say, man, I hate to be rude or whatever, but this dude that he's fighting, horrible. Unless the fight I saw was from a long time ago and he's improved, I don't see how this guy makes it past Joshua in 3 rounds. Unless Joshua maybe wants to get some rounds in. And then Joshua's in the press conference. He's like, hold on. I want to hear what this guy has to say. Because, these guys, they keep digging themselves up a grave. It's like, what? It's like, he's trying to, it seemed like, and then on top of that, he had sunglasses on indoors. Like he's a rock star or something.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No,
Thank you for holding it down.
Franco.
My bad. I had, the appointment comes, but I had to tell him I was busy.
Oh, the Su Ying showed up earlier.
Yeah, a little early. I was like, "What are you doing here?"
What's your nickname for her? Magic Hands or what is it?
Wrong.
The Dreamland.
No, but we're talking
I
about.
hadn't showered yet. Go ahead.
Oh, geez. Now we were talking about AJ. There was a press conference against that absolute total. That dude is a bum, Frank. I don't like to call people bums, but this dude he's fighting, he's nowhere near his level. And Joshua seems to be like, he seems to be manufacturing dissent, maybe to hype himself up. It's like, these guys, they talk a lot. The other guy wasn't. I didn't hear him saying anything outrageous or anything. He's a bum. And even if he is talking a lot, the guy is way below your level. You should just let him talk. And look at that. He's wearing sunglasses indoors. What is that about?
They all do. I noticed some of these guys do.
I don't know. For some reason, I feel that Josh is going to pay for this. It's not the first time he's done this. He did this. He did the same to... I'm not saying this guy's going to beat him or anything like that, but he did the same to Ruiz, right? He talked all that crap, and what did he get?
Oh, okay.
He got humble.
Really? He talked crap to Luis? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he took all that shit to Daniel Dubois. Sit down. You're a boy. Don't ever disrespect me. He was talking to Daniel like he was his uncle or some shit. Like, oh, don't even raise your boys on in front of me, boy. And he was feeling himself. You know what I mean? And what happened? He got knocked the fuck out.
Was Dubois supposed to be a tune-up? Wasn't that supposed to be a tune-up?
No, it was supposed to be for the Bacon IBF belt.
No, but I mean, was it because he was still hoping for an Usyk fight? Because didn't they become brothers?
So if he would have won that fight, he would have got a trilogy. So
really?
That's why because he maybe was for the Bacon IBF because the IBF stripped Usyk, right? So. It was for the Bacon IBF and he won it. Also he wanted to get the undisputed back.
Because I know he had the tune-up for Otto Wallin. Was that the tune-up for the Wilder fight?
So he had 2 tune-ups. He had the Franklin fight and the.
Jeez. How many tune-ups does this guy get? I mean, look, this latest episode, I get it, right? Because the accident, but still, but still, I guess.
So Frank, here's the thing though. I respect Joshua, but I have
Yeah, of
him
course.
and Usyk, and no Usyk, sorry, him and Fury. They kind of like almost the same to me. They good. Don't get it twisted, but they're massively overrated. But like for the things that they have actually done, if you know what I mean. Like they both have like this incredible credit for Klitschko, both of them. Um,
Yeah, I
you
get
know.
that, but I don't understand why we got to get all these tune-ups. Like I think Tyson Fury's gonna get another tune-up before
Um,
this fight, before they're
the
supposed
thing
to
about
fight.
Joshua is that at the end of the day, he's a cash cow, and two, he's a golden boy. Like
Yeah,
promotional companies and sponsorships, they're gonna bend to his will. You know, it's just what it is. He's like the
yeah. I
UK
mean,
Canelo.
yeah, no, I get that. It's just this guy just keeps getting tune-up after tune-up, and if it wasn't for the accident, do you think they would have went? Let's say the accident didn't happen, would they have
I
just
mean,
went straight into the
just to give
Fury
another point,
Joshua
and
fight?
also to the accident. Also, it's like that type of thing of, he's always acting like he's like this guy who's drugs, and he's always trying to act tough and scientific at the same time. That makes you corny, right?
Tough
But
and
the thing
scientific.
is, yeah, you
That's
know how it
funny.
is. But at the end of the day, um, you see people around him that see, if we fans, we can see him, as weak minded. Imagine the people around him and the people, who actually like promote him, you know what I mean, who actually see his day-to-day life and how he expresses himself off the mic, how goofy he really is. so
Oh,
so
okay.
that's another
You're
thing,
saying the
they
tough
actually know
guy's
how
an act?
weak-minded he is, huh?
The tough guy act is just that, an act?
I think it's just an act. The few times his mentality has been tested, he's has failed. When the tough pain facade goes away, that's. And
Now,
here's the thing though, like actually, like guys who can see it, because I can see it. That never like bothered me.
but isn't he
It's
from the streets? I thought he's from the hood.
Yeah, but there is a difference between you in the streets because you have to, or be in the streets because you're tough and you have to at the same time. He's that kid
Mm.
who tried and he got saved last minute. He's like that talented kid who tastes
Yeah.
poverty but
Right,
not really
right, right.
much, and he just like Tank, right? He's gonna tell you like, all these grandiose stories how he was from the streets. He probably did it for like a summer. When you see his family, he doesn't come from a bad family either way. Okay, he's the kid of immigrants from Nigeria, but
Yeah.
he wasn't like that broke either way.
Well, let me
When you
ask you
talk,
guys, do you think we get to this fight? Do we get to Tyson Fury and AJ? Like, does it finally
I
happen?
believe so.
Because
Yeah.
Tyson Fury also is kind of a philanderer, right? He kind of flip flops and he might just retire tomorrow. Like, you don't know what the fuck he's gonna do.
Well, I think they're gonna do it for pride, from the fighters. That's the promoters. Obviously, they're gonna get money from these guys. It's like a UK rivalry, so they're probably gonna like packed up like big stadium or whatever.
Right,
Um,
but it just seems like there's always these obstacles. Because at the when they were doing the face off, right, or Tyson Fury was calling him, trying to punk him, and he just flipped him off. He said, "I'm the A
I
side."
mean,
It's just like, man, are we
I'm
ever
not
really
trying to
gonna see this
disrespect
thing?
these two guys, man, but these two guys are like two of the biggest weak-minded guys like in boxing. As long as they see any adversity of challenge, they're gonna always flop around, act like the tough guy, just pretend not, to pretend that they're not like this big pussy when they really are. And I saw that, yeah,
He's
because
big Femi.
again, yeah,
He
they have
called him
all
big
the energy
pussy.
for like for smaller fighters, right? But when it's like two
Yeah.
guys the same size, all of a sudden, they're always like talking on the other side of the fence. They have all the energy for small Usyk, right? They have all the energy for Chisora, right?
Yeah.
I'll never forget when Fury was struggling with Ngannou, and then sometime in the later rounds he elbowed him. He didn't try to elbow him. He actually elbowed him. And I'm thinking that he's got the mentality of I'll do whatever it takes by any means necessary. And I bet you he feels no qualms about it. And Joshua on the other side is this dude is a tryhard. He tries so hard to try to be a tough guy. I mean, this guy's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a multi-time heavyweight champion, superstar in the UK, and yet he still is acting like an asshole. And I think it might be because maybe he's got that chip on his shoulder, which tends to drive fighters into accomplishing things. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make for a particularly pleasant human being to be around. I mean, listen, remember before the Usyk fight, the rematch, he's looking at the camera. He's like, people think I look up to boxers. No, my inspirations were always the gangsters, the big Meech, the big this, the big that. He's rattling off all these names of these gangsters like we're supposed to know them, first of all. As if the average person knows who these fucking gangsters are, these criminals. And he's acting like, hey man, these are the guys I look up to. So he was trying way too hard to sound tough. Instead, he sounds like a windbag. And like Frank said, this fight, something always comes up. That's why when I heard that they're taking a tune-up, and then Fury wants another tune-up. And
that's
like, how is this ever gonna happen?
What if there might be another tune-up, a tune-up for a tune-up? Like what?
I mean, what I think what's going on is like these old two dudes. I think they're just trying to like take the boxing world for like a little ride, take as much money as they can, and just walk away. But the thing is, these two dudes are like a little bit too greedy. They already have like over $100 million. The Usyk, not Usyk. I'm sorry, what's his name? Fury in the last like 4 fights. How much fucking money I made? The 2 Usyk fights, and the one before that was paid by the chick as well. So like this and the.
Why do you keep calling him the cheek? You keep calling him cheeks. Like that's probably what he's. That's probably what you got to give up to sign with to fight under the Sheik. But I mean, you keep calling him cheeks.
Son rumores, BDA, okay? Lo digo en español, so they don't get on me, eh?
There you go.
So that no me persigan, eh? No hay pájaros en el alambre.
I was going after you. I'm just saying, it sounded like you were saying cheeks.
Allegedly.
But listen, this whole Fury AJ thing, it's big money because people, even though it's past its selling point, people are gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. But the thing is it even gonna happen? Because I mean, they just take their sweet ass time making these fights, and like Frank was saying, I don't want to sound like a supernatural guy or whatever. Like what do you call what's the word I'm looking for here?
Yeah, and superstitious.
Superstitious. Thank you. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't want to sound superstitious, but it seems like something always happens with these two fellers, and that the more they prolong it, the more chances of things going wrong increase. So,
right, well, I mean, people get injured, people get cut. I remember Tyson Fury Usyk had been postponed. That's what I'm saying. This guy Tyson Fury, he's that type of dude that'll, will cut his own hand to postpone the fight. Like, oh shit, I was hammering something and I busted my nail. Right? I need 3 months.
Yeah. Well, remember when people were saying that he cut himself during sparring?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, these guys, man, we've seen the better Biev. He's always hurt. Bivol always hurt. That's what I'm. So this fight, man, somebody can get injured. Femi has bad luck. I mean, something's gonna happen, right? Like, don't you think something's bound to come up that it's just gonna be postponed?
All of a sudden, like, I can't fight because I don't money to my bookie,
Yeah, look, I don't like thinking that way, but I get that law probabilities in this case with both these guys, because there have been fights that have fallen apart for Fury. AJ not so much now that I think about it. I can recall the last time an AJ fight got postponed or that he ended up. I don't know, man. It's whether he has a history of it or not. This fight itself, excuse me, has already had roadblocks. I mean, think about 2021. They were supposed to fight. Everything was set. Then out of nowhere, some judge in arbitration decides, oh no, it's got to be Wilder Fury 3. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yep, that happened.
And then we never heard about that fight again.
Damn, I had forgot all about that. Well, I mean, look, they're going to get these tune-ups in, so I guess we just got to wait. But, I mean, it'll still be a big fight, like you said. So, is nobody's a Fury or AJ guy? I'm neither guy. I don't really go for Fury. I don't really go for AJ. But I know in your chat, BDA, there's hardcore Fury guys and there's really hardcore AJ guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't really think like any of us cares about, like that, about these dudes. It's just like an interesting fight overall.
No, but you're right, Frank. There's a lot that's very divided over in our community. There's some people that love Fury, and then there's some people that
Hmm.
really dislike him. They don't. I mean, now there's people that dislike Usyk in our Discord. They
Now
some
that he
like
lost his luster.
well, not even that. I mean, Emeritus Muellers, he was always more of a Fury guy. I think I'm not gonna call him a
Uh-huh.
fanboy because I don't think he's a fanboy, but he really like he calls Usyk now. He calls him a
I
draft
do.
dodger. He calls him a draft
Oh, I
because
get
he
it.
didn't go to war.
Yeah.
So yeah, he makes So what was I gonna say about this? Look, I would like to see the fight just for finality, just to for resolution's sakes. But if it doesn't happen at the end of the day, the boxing world moves so fast. More and better fights get made, and all of a sudden you forget
Right.
about it. But it would be a shame if they never fight each other.
Well, and the other thing is that what I could see happening. I don't know if it'd be a postponement, but they're gonna try to make it for a belt. So something's got to happen where they
Mm.
make it for a belt. So I don't know what organization will pull whatever shenanigans, but it has to be for a title, right? I'm just
To give it a
thinking in
little
my
more
boxing
prestige,
mind.
yeah.
So that could, who knows what could happen in there? They're gonna strip Usyk for something, or it'll become available. Just trust me. If I know boxing, it'll get like with the AJ DuBois, right? That it's somehow the belt just fell into play,
They're gonna plant drugs on the boys, luggage, things like that.
right? That could happen, right? Somebody pop dirty up, belt vacant. So
Allegedly,
now Fury AJ is for a belt now, or Usyk, he gets injured, he can't fulfill something, and they're gonna pull one of his belts. Like, yeah, we'll get you back,
Yeah.
brother.
All of a sudden, Fury gets positive for steroids, because he was sucking on boards,
Whoa,
testicles and shit.
Oh, come on.
holy shit!
Oh, sorry,
You
eating.
know, they're gonna say Dubois is legally retarded and therefore unfit to hold the belt, and they're gonna strip him from it.
Mentally unfit.
Yeah, he's gonna be mentally unfit to hold the belt. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. I mean, we're joking around about it, or you guys are. I wasn't joking, but it's something always happens with these fellas. But if Frank is putting on his promoter's hat, and he's correct. A belt wouldn't hurt in this situation between AJ and Fury, and that way the winner could call himself. What are they now, like 5-time world champion at this point, or something like that?
Like Fury became champion
Fuck
two
it.
times because he retired, right?
You know what,
He's
BDA?
back.
Throw the sofa belt on it.
Yeah, why not?
Ah, shit. That
Well,
could
Joshua
happen.
already said that Zuffa tried recruiting him, and immediately he called Eddie Hearn to let him know what was going on. So he seems
The
to be
thing
loyal
about
to Eddie
Joshua
Hearn.
has a lifetime contract with his own either way. So
Are you saying he's got a slave owner contract sort of thing? Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Oh, you heard it here from Severino. He's pro-slavery. You heard it from him first.
Or as long as it's Joshua.
Yeah, as long as it's Joshua. As long as make any fighting not dog, I'm
Is it really slavery or is it just deals? People make deals to benefit themselves.
yeah. Nobody's whooping his ass. Oh. Nobody's going Indiana Jones on his ass, if you know what I mean.
So the news was Shakur was we were talking about the AJ. That was the news. I don't think I really got into this. Did you see this today, Mr. BD? You touched on a little bit, but now Mauricio Solomon is actually saying they will strip Mikaelian if he faces Ja Pataya.
Yeah,
And,
since
Go ahead.
yeah, no, sorry, but so they want him to fight David Benavidez.
Well, he can go fight whoever he wants, but he will be stripped if he faces Ja Pataya.
So who does he have to fight to not get stripped?
But
Well, I mean, but see, I don't know if it would benefit David Benavidez more, right? If they just strip him and he could fight whoever for a vacant belt.
Yeah, maybe, or he could unify, and then he goes, "Oh, you see, I got one up on Opetaya because I'm unified. I'm the man."
I mean, to Frankie's point, it's a really good point because if you give him a vacant WBC belt, he only gonna have to hunt for one more, and who has the other one? Oh no, wait, the third one, the cruiserweight, what's his name? Baru Jack has it, right?
No, but Mikaelian took some belt from Baru Jack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right, you're
it was
right.
the WBC belt.
So wait, okay. So doesn't Benavidez have two right now?
Yes, he unified with Zerto.
He had
Okay,
the
so if-
WBO and the WBA.
Okay, there you go. So if he takes one from Mikaelian, which is the WBC,
Yeah. If you look at the screen, can you guys see it? BDA and
Yes.
Jose. Okay, WBA, WBO, and this is what you're always talking about. And I agree with you, Beats, but sometimes BDA I kind of see it from the other side. But now I'm like, you are convincing me that like fuck these guys.
oh, you mean the belt though?
Yeah, because it's like, okay, WBA, W David is the man. The WBC is Mikaelian interim C Slack. IBF title vacant, but number 2 Vidal Riley, number 1 contender Floyd Masson, and do you know these guys, BDA? Does anybody? Because I guess I'm a casual.
David
I've
Nika is
heard the names, but
David Nika is that giant dude. He's like 6'6", and he got his ass knocked out by
This guy?
Opetaya.
this skinhead looking dude,
No, that's not Nika. Nika is like a
I know this
Aboriginal type of
Vidal.
guy.
That's Vidal, right?
Yeah, I think
There
so.
it is on his trunks.
So
But the whole
Thing
thing is,
about-
none of these fights are interesting.
What's the
Nobody
cruiserweight
wants to see
division?
these fights. Yeah, but even still, we might know 1 or 2 names, and
I think
if David doesn't
guys
fight
like
Jai,
this.
go ahead.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. My bad. Go ahead.
No, it just with these politics and games, man, it just now David's gonna get to fight C Slack, like because I said he was gonna it'd be better for him if he fights for a vacant title because they can give him some walkover.
Sounds like Cease Black.
Sounds like C-SPAN. That boring ass
Where is he?
political
Is that
channel.
It's like an
Russian?
amusement park,
Is he
right?
Russian or what is he? C Slack?
He's from nowhere. He's from nowhere that I want to go. That's where he's from. And the thing, yeah, look, the fight we all want to see is Opetaya versus Benavidez. The excuse I'm hearing and it's really from the Benavidez fans too, is, well, there's nothing on the line if he fights Opetaya. He's the real champ, regardless of belts. See, this is why I hate the belts too, because it enables people to support certain fights not getting made, because that way they can say, well, look, see, but there's no belts on the line, so who cares about that fight? So they're telling me there has to be a belt there for Opetaya. If there's no belts, then that means for them they're not going to watch Benavidez versus Opetaya, or it's not going to be as interesting because there's no belts on the line. That's insanity.
Well, it helps these guys that we don't know. Well, I'm sure some people know. Get these opportunities, but at the same time, it's almost like it prevents us from getting the big fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think these guys, all the guys on the screen, will be, even Benavidez to a certain degree, will be really, really beneficial if they sign with Sufa. Like that entire division.
Well, now they
So
don't
they
have
can-
to if they get these fights with David Benavidez on a pay-per-view or something like that, because David Benavidez, he fights on pay-per-view. He's not gonna fight on a regular DAZN card or anything like that. It'll be on PBC pay-per-view or DAZN pay-per-view. But how do you sell a David Benavidez C-Slack fight?
Exactly. There you go. Excellent point. So
crazy, man.
That's what these enablers are saying. That's what these enablers are saying. It's like, well, listen, we'd rather see him fight C-SPAN because C-SPAN's got a belt, but we don't care about the Opetaya fight, even though he's better than C-Slack, because, well, he has no belt. Nobody really believes that.
You know what's crazy, man, guys? I didn't know this, right? But Benavidez gets paid like $4 up to $8 million a fight, right?
That high?
I didn't know anything like that.
Yeah, that's why, he's got some pay-per-view, and things like that, because they have to get that money somehow. And
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because he's on the PBC, they got no money.
Yeah, but the thing is, he still has that contract. His contract still runs from when they had that merger, right? Because that was like an extension, and he had like a 6-year extension or some shit. So they have to pay him the money regardless. So they either have to rob a bank. They don't care. They have to get him the money.
And that's why he
they
probably
can
only
even they get the pay-per-view thing. Huh?
That's probably why he only fights once a year too, or close to that, twice a year.
That's why even what's his name, Caleb Plant too. He gets paid like $3 million. So all these guys, they have to be on pay-per-view because of these exorbitant contracts, and that's why they can't or won't leave the PBC.
Well, I wouldn't.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem with these dudes. They get paid $4 million for one fight, so they can sit out the rest of the year.
Exactly.
They're
So
pampered.
like
So
guys that don't get paid a lot in the PBC, they get beater like the Hitchens, because
so
Hitchens
it
wouldn't be uh, complaining if he wouldn't got a couple of fights under that type of money, right? But he wasn't getting
Exactly.
shit under the PBC.
Nah, he wasn't really fighting. So on this Mick Lee must fight Benavidez, what side would you guys be on? You on Mauricio's side, the belts, or would you be on the Zuffa Opataya side?
I wouldn't
Is that
be
a
more
question?
of
Is that a fair question?
It's a very unfair question.
Or you could be neutral, like you don't care.
Well, I
I
mean, to a
honestly
certain
don't
degree,
care.
I care, man, because as a fan, I want to see the fights. And what risk is would Benavidez be taking by fighting Opetaya in terms of like financial risk or whatever? And, he's Zuffa's got money. Apparently, there's a big demand for Benavidez if they're paying him $4 million, or if they're willing to pay him that much money. If Zuffa comes out with a good offer, why not fight Opetaya? You could sell that fight, put it in a
Oh well,
decent
yeah.
venue. People, you're marketing it as two undefeated guys, two monsters. One guy is a legitimate power puncher. He's not slow as molasses like Surdo Ramirez. I mean, come on, the fight sells itself. I'm not saying it's going to be Canelo Crawford in terms of mainstream attraction, but it's a whole lot better than if you put Benavidez against Mikelian or Benavidez against C-SPAN or against the TNT or whatever. How's that going to
Mhm.
work?
I mean, also here's the thing though. Benavidez, you see, he's a smart guy, right? Oh, his team is really smart. He doesn't really want business with guys that they wanna, because he always, I don't want to say pick, but he always feels really comfortable with guys, that pick like their punches, like they like to look good and cute, like with their guard and shit, what's his name? The UK guy he fought last time at one seventy
You
five.
mean Anthony Yard?
Yeah,
Yarde
Anthony
or
Yard,
Yardy?
Sordo, all these guys that were all trying to look cute. They don't throw a lot of punches. They don't go for it like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Opetaya, he goes for it. Him and his goony eyes, they go for it.
I'm reticent to accuse fighters of being scared, but in this scenario, I mean, again, it's not about what I think. It's about looking at the track record. Benavidez didn't fight Canelo, and people can blame Canelo all they want. That fight didn't happen. Then Bivol versus Beterbiev. Oh, I'm not going to interfere with that fight. All of a sudden, the WBC gives him time to think about whether he wants to stay on 168, 175. All of a sudden, he's like, oh, I'll go 175, and yeah, give me the WBC belt. And they just hand it to him.
hmm
Now he's at 200 pounds. And let's say you want to believe that Canelo didn't want to fight him, Bivol and Beterbiev didn't want to fight him, Caleb Plant, because again, they'd offered him the Caleb Plant fight before Plant fought Canelo. They didn't want it either. Well, now he's got a guy who wants to fight him in Jay Opetaya. So what's the excuse going to be now? Well, now it's Zuffa. So now it's starting to turn out like there's always an excuse. And this time they can't hide behind the fact that, oh, I'm the boogeyman and nobody wants to fight me. A guy wants to fight you. And Dana White said he's
Yeah.
open to fighting for belts, and he's open to even having Zuffa fighters fighting non-Zuffa events.
I
So what's the
think
excuse?
I think it's a little bit of karma for Benavidez
Uh-oh.
because of he's been calling out. I mean, to be fair, they weren't like on the same weight class, but he's been calling out a smaller guy for years, right? For years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, a quote unquote bigger guy, is calling you out. So I wish Opetaya, he gets on his American hat and start calling him this guy a bitch. He's ducking me. I see him the Broham. He walking
hmm
running around Rolls Royces. You know what I mean? Like talking all that shit. Hope so. He
Well,
started antagonizing him. He's not real Mexican. All that. He
yeah.
eats taco sideways. All that shit.
Well, when I see this, here's what comes to my mind. This is the perfect opportunity for fighters to hide behind the politics,
Mhm.
right? Because like now you have a choice, right? Benavidez or Jai. Because look, I could absolve Jai, but what if he's playing the same game, BDA? You know what I'm saying? Like we're looking at him like he's a white knight or he's
Mhm.
above it all. But what if he's playing the same game? I'm just kind of being a devil's advocate and throwing that out there. But David Benavidez, he's able to hide behind the politics. You don't think these guys could come out and say, nah, fuck that. I don't care about the belt. I'll fight you, whatever. So it just seems like now we're in this era of boxing, like with social media. Now they have a perfect excuse to hide behind the politics.
Yeah, with social media, you're first of all, you're that's a good point about the Opetaya fight. Like we're assuming that Opetaya is the white knight. He wants to fight everybody. He's the besmirched party. Okay, listen,
Right.
we don't know the full story, but from what I see, he wants a fight, and the Benavidez side is coming up with all sorts of excuses about why it shouldn't happen and why it can happen. Because again, remember, it wasn't just the Sufa thing. It's Opetaya gets hurt in every fight. That's what Jose Benavidez Sr. said.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's he needs 3-4 more fights or something like that before he's ready. It's like the dude is 31 years old and he's the cruiserweight champion of the world. How many more fights he has to wait to get Benavidez? Who the fuck is Benavidez anyway? That is, it's like I know he's a tough fighter and everything, and I've given him props for being a very difficult
So
fighter.
you
But
mean tell me that Jar gets hurt or knocked the fuck out in every fight, but you still fought him, right?
exactly, and Zurdo is a slowpoke. He gets hit very easily, but that dude is better. That guy earned his shot, and not Opetaya, because Opetaya got hurt once against Nika and then knocked him the fuck out. I mean, it really makes no sense.
You know what? You know what happened there. He know that dude. From Del Barrio. And he just fought him. They
Did
did
you
each
see
other
that
a favor
Zurdo got
that
in
day.
trouble? That was in the news. Zurdo got in trouble. He got caught up in some shenanigans, I think, like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, in Guadalajara, or where was it?
I have no idea. It was just
Yo,
he was
that
like with
mugshot was crazy because everybody he towered fucking crazy over everyone in the mugshot.
Yeah, he's Andre the Giant in Mexico.
But there was like a really weird mugshot. There was like two stripper looking chicks. There was some like little, lady that looked like she worked at the, making tamales. And then there was like two like fruit guys. It was just, and he's like a Chad, right?
It's
Tall,
a
good
confusing
looking guy.
situation.
Yeah, it was just like, what the hell was going on here?
But it looked like
Frankie,
what they
look at
usually-
the picture. He was trying to put everything together. We're reading the article.
It looked like the type of picture they take when they arrest like cartel members or something. They line them
That's-
up in front of
yeah.
the evidence and all that. It's like, why the fuck did they do that with these dudes? What did they do?
It was a really strange thing. But Zurdo had it, he was throwing beers at people. He's been kind of like he's missed weight. He's always kind of been like a hit or miss guy.
He's a little bit like the Mexican Daniel Dubois. You can just look at his eyes and you hear cartoon music
It's
playing.
blank. There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's something. He's not all there.
It's just good or bad, right? He just thinks good or bad.
I always thought that Surdo was a little bit sassy, the way he talks, the way he moves.
That's just because he's a Chad. Isn't he like does model or novellas or something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, he poses for like GQ magazines over there or something like that.
Is that
He
right?
probably has a novio somewhere,
Oh, come on.
Okay. So what do you think about the war brewing? Well, it's already a war, right? That was my other point in this saga, is the war brewing between the belt organizations and Zuffa. That now, because this belt, they're gonna try to stop the Zuffa fight. So is that better for Zuffa? Is it worse for the belts? Just throwing it out there. What do you guys think?
Well,
I think. Go ahead.
Real quick, somebody was saying on Twitter that they sort of screwed up Sufa by announcing so quickly that, hey, listen, we're here to. I forget what exactly they said, but they said something like that there was going to be some sort of tension between them and the sanctioning bodies, that they were looking to drive them out of business. I don't think they quite worded it that way, but that's the way it was interpreted. They shouldn't have done that, because that let their enemies know, hey, these guys are after us. And now they seem to be pulling their own moves, the sanctioning bodies, that is, pulling their own moves to really try to present obstacles to Zuffa right off the bat. Whereas if Zuffa would have played a little bit more subterfuge in their game and done things a little bit more with the dark arts, with more stealth, they perhaps wouldn't be in the position they're in now. But now the IBF is going after them, the WBC. We don't know what the WBO and the WBA have in store. So they kind of screwed up there.
I think it's called playing your hand. They played their hand, revealed their cards.
They showed it to yeah.
Yeah, I know. I seen that. I think I liked the tweet. I just didn't save it, but it was very poignant. I know what you mean. He said, "I wish I could pull it up, unless you could pull it up."
They whipped it out too early.
I've been known to do that. When in doubt, whip out. Oh, here it is. T Street controversy. Give him props. Also, Zufa launched super prematurely. Didn't happen. Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's normal. Okay. They have a TV broadcast deal. They have a TV broadcast deal before the Ali Act was fully amended. Zufa Boxing is still in the beta stage. However, maybe this wasn't it. Oh, my opinion is that they had full obligation and dates to Paramount that has to be fulfilled too soon and too early. I don't think that was it. Maybe it was something he posted earlier.
Well,
I
it's
think it was
similar,
him.
yeah.
So they said, yeah, they were going to take over and they weren't going to deal with the belt organizations. And now the belt organizations, I think they tried a preemptive strike with the IBF thing and Jai, but with that whole situation. But now it looks like it's a full-on war, right? Now we're going to have a complete divide with them stepping in like that.
So, what I think is gonna happen is they're gonna like find their way like right in the middle. Because at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is I don't want to say too stupid, but it's too divisive. Because then you're gonna have, you know, guys that want to fight, for the belt, and you belt. I don't care how much you pay. I don't care how much you approve it. It's not gonna be a belt, my guy. Um, you still gotta go through like the process of like the sanctionings or whatever, to become an actual like belt. And I think they're just gonna find like the one in the middle. These belts organizations they get shit. So if Sufa can put these guys in some type of more creative type of thing, I mean I'm all for it. If they can cut off all these Mickey Mouse belts, I'm all for it. But other than that, like I think Sufa they're just gonna be like a pro box league with no rank fighters, because if you don't, if the belts won't allow the fighters to fight there, at least the IBF won't. Um,
Well,
I don't see no point to have like even
yeah, but like Telk says, he said Dana said he will not acknowledge the sanctioning bodies verbatim, but then he did say he will let his fighters fight. But
he
now
will have to, man.
but it's the sanctioning bodies that are sticking it to him now. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, you can go against the belts, but not the sanctioning bodies, man. I mean, come on. Because then they're not gonna sanction your fights. He's
So
overplaying his hand, man. Because the thing is, uh, slowly but surely, the cheeks, he's going to stop, that money
mm,
flowing, going like all over the place, and we start seeing it, right? That contract that they promised Devin Haney, all of a sudden is down. Nobody's offering him shit anymore. The
yeah,
Shakur Stevenson thing, everybody knows now that, well, at least I know that his contract got bought over from like the top rank, the ESPN, all that shit. He got bought over, so his contract's gonna roll over to the end, and he might be able to resign, right?
yeah.
So that's the card they're playing right now. The
Well, the thing with the sanctioning war, well, they looks like they have war on Zuffa. What I'm saying is, if this is true, and Shakur Stevens signs with Zuffa, to me, what that tells me is now he can hide behind the politics because now he won't fight these other champions. Like even if he was just gonna fight Dalton Smith,
E-
Gary Russell, now he can say, well, I'm with Zuffa, and the belts they
I
won't
will say
let those guys fight
yes,
me.
but also at the same time, it will be a nightmare for him because at the same time, it's like what Sufa makes him to fight. If Sufa asks him to fight Puello, he has to fight Puello. If Sufa asks him to fight Gary Russell, he has to fight Gary Russell. It's not up to him anymore. So I don't know. I think but also since they go and work with the sanctioning bodies and the belts or whatever, then for the remaining of his life, he has to fight like unranked fighters.
I don't think
Um,
that's gonna happen. I don't know how they could sell that, but it just seems like now if there was a divide, now there's a real divide,
well,
and whoever signs with Zuffa,
the
if
thing
any
is,
of these big
remember,
names,
they have the TKO money now. So the thing about TKO, they don't care if they lose money. and they don't care if it's entertaining. They only care about these things just to be platforms to show the other things they're promoting, or just to like sell spaces to like promos as they do in
Mm.
WWE, even putting like promotions on the mat, which is prohibited in wrestling, but they do it either way, you know. Vince McMahon used to say that was, you know, disrespectful. Like,
BDA Telk is here. He said he has beef with you. What's up,
me?
Telk?
Uh-uh.
You too.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Telk?
What's up? Yeah,
What-
man.
what
We
thoughts?
got these sanctioning bodies at war, bro. Or at war with Zuffa, man. That's what's going on, bro. I'm headed to that convention at Cerebral in December, so it's gonna
Telk,
be
you got a
beautiful.
lot of feedback. I'm sorry. You got a lot of feedback, man.
Sounds
can't
like
hear
a
you.
static man.
Try to fix that. Yeah, there you go. Come back in or whatever, but you got a lot of feedback.
It might be his microphone.
Is
Oh,
Tolkien still training or?
You know what? That faded away, huh? What happened? That fight gets postponed? Like, what are we doing? Tune-ups now?
I don't know, man. Yeah. What's going on? Is
It was
Telk was-
hype. They had a good promotion going, and then
What's
kaput.
going on?
There it is. Thank you.
Telk, what's going on between you and Solvers? Is that still on or?
Sober's duck, bro. So he's just loud capping and duck.
What do you mean he dug? What happened?
Yeah, break that down, bro.
Telk?
He's the one who said he didn't want to pay the registration fee. So
When did he say that?
Telk, you're on.
yeah. So what I'm thinking about doing, let's just do this on a BDA show, and I'm gonna brutally chin him
But
because
wait.
I don't have time wasting on clowns.
When
But
did
that
he
clown
say?
is going down in the first round.
But when did he say he didn't want to pay the fee?
He's too broke to register for Border Wars.
yeah, that's okay. So he didn't actually say it then.
Yeah, but from a boxing perspective, yeah, these sanctioning bodies are cooking Zuffa right now. That's one of the reasons why I'm headed to the convention in December, the
Oh,
Unified
shit.
Convention.
Uh-huh.
So I got a couple of invitations, and yeah, hopefully we can have some good media coverage, God willing. So let's see what happens.
So you're gonna be there with some boxers too, talking shop. You know, just two regular boxers talking.
Yeah, just trying to. Well, I'm also gonna try to get in line to ask some questions and some Q&As.
Oh, should be interesting for you. So that's all gonna be going down on your channel.
I'm gonna try to make it that way. I have
Mhm,
to
okay.
purchase some equipment and things of that nature. If I choose to cover it that way, of course.
Well, you're not gonna try to do something crazy, are you?
No,
Maybe.
I'm there to support the sanctioning bodies.
Okay.
You know,
there
I'm
go,
gonna
there you
ask them a straight question, and it's gonna be serious.
Are you gonna say reporting?
No, I'm gonna ask them how they plan on drawing the line in the sand with these fighters who want to jump ship to Zuffa.
Now, what is your issue with Zuffa? I'm curious.
Well, according to the IBF, the reason why they stripped Jayo Pataya is because Zuffa is not a sanctioned organization recognized by them. Let alone, that's within their legal framework. Therefore, Jayo Pataya's appeal to get his belt back will not work because he broke the rules.
Right, but what I'm saying is, why it sounds like you're on the side of the sanctioning bodies. Overall against Zuffa. Why?
You're dang right that I'm on the side of the sanctioning bodies. That's why I'm going to the convention.
Yeah, but why is that though? That's what I'm asking.
Well, there's, you know, the hurdles when it comes to getting your physicals and your checkups, and there's all kinds of other hurdles. Like when you put something like a lot of stock into something like Zuffa and it grows big enough as an entity, it establishing industry plants is a lot easier that way because they have access to multiple streaming platforms, and not everybody's down with seeing industry plants. I just want to see the best fight the best. And Zuffa's just not doing it right. They're fighting in warehouses. I think they're fighting this weekend for the first time outside that ugly warehouse. They're fighting in Bournemouth, and I heard Dana White pronounce it Bournemouth. Like, dude, he's a moron, bro. He even has the UK people, that Chris Billiam Smith, and he's fighting some can that he's gonna crush. Don't worry about that this weekend. But yeah, we're gonna see how all that pans out. Dana White's comparing himself with Matchroom, saying we're doing more shows and all this other crazy crap. So that's exactly one of my main issues with Dana White, is he shows his cards too early. Like I was trying to explain to you in the Discord earlier. This is a very serious problem in terms of warfare. If you're at war with somebody, like Mehmed the Conqueror, the one who took Constantinople from the Christians, he knew not to show his cards too early. He knew to navigate his navy over the land and drop it into the Golden Horn so he could outflank the Byzantines. And
we're learning a lot today.
That's exactly what the sanctioning bodies are doing to Zuffa boxing right now.
I gotta tell you, I'm learning so much today. It's unbelievable. You make some interesting points right there in regards to that. Frank, what do you? I'm curious, man. What do you make of?
I'm just listening. I wonder where he's going with it.
What's up? Yeah, what were you saying, BDA?
Well, I mean, it's interesting points that you're making about the Zuffa thing vis-a-vis the sanctioning bodies. But I'll tell you what, man, the sanctioning bodies, you want to talk about industry agents or industry plants, they were planted a long time ago, to the point where now they're these big giant trees and they're sucking up all the resources. They're not making it easy to be a boxing fan nowadays. Do you have any issues with the sanctioning bodies?
Yeah, but Zuffa boxing with Zuffa boxing, people are visualizing them taking over the whole entire sport.
Now, do you think that's even possible?
No, they may suck up like a lot of the large media contracts, but there's still going to be some, small independent fight promotions out there. You're not going to stop that.
But if they sign if they sign Shakur Stevenson, they sign a couple more big names, doesn't that kind of signal a takeover? Imagine if
not necessarily,
and they got
not necessarily if they draw the line in the sand with the fighters, like, hey, if you go, don't come back.
You mean the sanctioning bodies tell them if you go to Zuffa, then you're not fighting for our belt? Is that what you're kind of alluding to?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Frank.
The thing is, I don't really think Silva's gonna take over. They trying. I think they're gonna do the whole, buying everyone type thing, but I don't really think they know what they're doing, man. If you know anything about boxing, it's a lot of money that to we lose. And look what's going on with the UFC. Uh, Even though they don't care about losing money, but they're not making money at all. Like it's a dying organization right now.
Yeah, but the Zuffa with the Paramount, they have the dates, they have the TV dates, they have the money now. They're signing these big names, so it kind of looks like it, man. I mean, I'm just saying, with the
Yeah,
name like
but
Shakur
again,
Stevenson.
they're not stupid, right? They're not as if the fighter has like management, especially like these big name guys, they're just gonna take their role of the contract and like take all the fights somewhere else because the actual SUFA contract is is not really convenient for these diva
Yeah,
type fighters. I'm trust me, I'm one of those guys who said fuck the fighters in that sense. But
yeah,
at the same time, because here's the thing about that contract, they don't cover the medical bills. They don't pay you managers. They don't pay you trainers. Because Top Rank used to do that for you. I used to do, and they used to do the
yeah,
whole training in the facility, whole thing, right? So Top Rank was already doing the whole sofa thing even better. Um, when it comes to like what they're offering, like right, like you can train in the facility, so why not?
yeah. They have the Zuffa has that whole Zuffa camp
Yeah,
and
but
shit
Top Rank
like that.
already had it. Like Top Rank already
Yeah,
had it. The thing is, if you were a big name guy, yeah, you had your own shit. But no, Top Rank already had it. Multiple placing in the country, man. So
yeah. But let's say Shakur Stevenson, right? He's at 140. I'm just throwing out an idea, right? And he's at 140, and he's the champion, right? So he goes to Zuffa if this is true. And you have the other 140 champions. Um, they can't fight him unless they go and drop their belt, right? If what's happening and they say, "Hey, man, you go fight Zuffa, you're not keeping that belt." So now they're forced to sign with Zuffa, and maybe they're forced to fight a fight before getting to him or having the opportunity.
so I mean I get what you're saying, but the thing is there is no prize, win, lose or draw if you go and do all that just to fight Shakur Stevenson for no belt or for this gas station looking belt. It's nothing behind just going for for a Shakur Stevenson fight. So even if you get the quote unquote big names, what's gonna happen is even though you pay a lot of money, you at the same time devaluing the name of the fight. Like for example, look at Conor Ben, pay all that money for Conor Ben, and
Hmm.
who you put in fight against
Oh,
washed
Regis
up
Prograis.
Prograde, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And now just
yeah,
to create a buzz, because here's the thing: you also gonna encounter these fighters that you can't really sign him like that, like Ryan Garcia. He's in his own autonomy, right? And they
hmm,
coming from the Dana book, they're trying to avoid the Conor McGregor thing that any fighter get bigger than the label, or too big that they don't really can dictate what they can do. And that's the thing, though.
yeah,
If you're gonna sign big names in boxing, because again they thinking about the same protocols about the UFC, right? Minimalism, don't pay the fighters a lot, and that's how you get the money. But here's the problem: a lot of these guys they already have a lot of money. Not these guys who no disrespect, but they like in jiu-jitsu or gyms, not getting paid nothing.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's interesting, man. It's interesting to see this new this politicking and these guys already drawn lines in the sand. So it'll be interesting to see if well, there's already division to get fights. So I'm like, damn, does this make it harder? Because what I would like to see Shakur Stevenson do is fight one of these other champions. But now it looks like that's definitely not going to happen.
It's not gonna
Um,
I
happen.
mean, he could always go the other sanctioning bodies route. Like
he's
go
going to
for the
Zuffa.
other sanctioning bodies, like the WBF and all those little obscure bodies. Unify all
Uh,
those belts,
The
and
thing
then
is,
go
again,
after the big one.
it's how what happened with the IBF, right? So they're not a recognized organization. They like a more like a little league. So they didn't do what Pro Box did. So the whole thing with them having a league, that's what they're gonna get them be like official. But they're not really official.
well, yeah, the Zuffa. That's what I think they wanted to be is a league. That was their whole idea. Talking about their cards laid out.
That's a cope. idea. Like they wanted to be a league, quote unquote. They're not trying to be the fucking league, man. They just they just can't be like a legit boxing thing. So they're saying that just to like cope, just in case they don't get approved. Oh, we're trying to be like if that's the case, why you're trying to like mess up the whole boxing world, right? Fuck out of here. Nice try.
So you as a boxing fan, but as boxing fans, right? I know you're a boxing fan. I know Telga's a boxing fan. BDA is a boxing fan. So do we stop recognizing the belt organizations? Like if this shit happens and the belt organizations playing these politics, do you stop recognizing the champions? Like, well, the Shakur's the man. He's at Zuffa, so that makes Zuffa the place. And these Gary Russell, Don Smith, I mean, they're not really, they're not really champions.
I mean, we just
So-
call those Benedict Arnolds and turncoats is what we call those, man. I mean, they want to jump the ship and go to Paradise Island. Hey, boss, a plane.
So what's gonna happen is, if you're a guy who doesn't have a chance to get a belt, if you're a guy who's not really ranked like that, yeah, you go to Sufa. But if you're a guy who already, being years in the rankings, being years fighting with, bombs, contenders, gatekeepers, and champions, you think twice to go to Sufa, because going to Sufa is gonna mess up all those ranks and all that, and you're gonna be fighting. If you're a guy who doesn't get attention like that, like a Baja Shock or like a Mostly
Yeah.
Junior, yeah, all well and good, And I think Sufa is gonna really. I think Sufa. Here's the thing about Sufa. I think Sufa is more along the lines of a pro box with ranking, because Bravo at the very least they recognize as a boxing organization.
Well, I just consider them an alternative boxing option, bro. That's
what
all
they're
I
supposed to
consider
be.
them.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed
Like,
to. Be,
I'm-
they just
I'm not-
overplayed their hand.
Like comparing them right now. I mean, we're comparing, stuff like warehouses to mansions, bro. Like, there's no
But they
comparison.
got the names. They're signing these names. They signed Richard Hutchinson. They're gonna sign Shakur Stevenson. They got Berlanga. So they got names.
So Frankie,
Well, they
I'm
need to
gonna
start
ask,
fighting in that
right,
warehouse and start selling some
they-
stadiums so they can support these names.
they
on
are
their
names,
roster.
but they're not. I mean, other than the Shakur, who has like at least films, the Prudential Center.
Yeah.
Any of these guys, they haven't really like pulled ass in seats as Alavi used to say, right? So they're not really like names like that. And for the
No,
most
I know
part,
that.
other than the Shakur, and even because I think he messed up going to 140, because now he's gonna look like a bitch going back to 135. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because it's like so you fighting these guys because he's coming from the same weight classes as you do, but staying here to fight the Russells or all the guys, to unify, right? Because I get it's your fourth division, but you're going back.
Yeah, that's
down,
the
man.
crazy thing. I mean, if there's let's say there's no Zuffa, right? Because they came about last year, right? They've been here about since the beginning of the year. I mean, we heard about them coming, but they just started in January. But let's say they weren't around. So Shakur Stevenson, he'd still have a belt. He'd be talking about unifying or fighting the other champions. But now going to Zuffa, it seems like he won't really be in the mix to fight those other champions. I mean, that's what I'd want to see him,
Man.
Yeah,
here's
like
the
I
thing,
said,
though,
man, it's Paradise Island, man. They're not gonna fight anybody. They're away
Yep.
from the mainland on an island right
exactly.
now.
So like they're gonna get
that's
paid
exactly
a lot of
what's going on.
money. No, you're right, and they're gonna pay a lot. They're gonna get paid a lot of money. to fight
Voluntary
non-stop.
isolation is exactly
Yep,
what
there
it
you go.
is.
And same thing's happening with Jai Bataya, right? So Shakur, Jai Bataya, if let's say Zuffa wasn't around, he'd be right in the mix with these other guys. I mentioned they were talking about the other guys, the Vidal, Riley, Mason, these well, who's up here. He'd be in the mix, but now that he's on Zuffa, he's kind of in Zuffa world. So it's like
He fucked up, man. He fucked
Well,
up
not
in many
necessarily
ways.
though. Not necessarily, because remember that it's not just the Zuffa thing. That the reason why the Benavidez won't fight him is because he gets hurt every other fight. That's what they said. So you
I
have to
mean,
assume
and
that if you
PBC,
but you
they're
have to
not going to
assume that if
tolerate
you-
that game either.
you have to assume that if Opetaya wasn't with Zuffa, the other reason for not finding him would be because he's not ready for us. They already came out with that
Yeah,
excuse.
yeah, that's a good point right there. That's a good point, and they can keep on making that point. But until we see them step through the ropes, we'll never know.
Well, that's the
It's
thing,
always
though. I
needs to
mean,
tune
step
up.
through the ropes. Then it's the biggest fight in the cruiserweight division. They should step through the ropes, but for some reason, the Benavidez side doesn't want it. For a myriad of reasons that
I
don't
mean,
really quite
there's
hold
still
up.
sides of the street, no matter which way you want to put it.
I mean, Zuffa already said they're willing to work in non-Zuffa events.
Well, they need to start issuing formal apologies so these guys can work with them.
Formal apologies.
No, yeah, because
Well, it looks
that's
like
the
it's
thing,
a
though.
bigger mess now. That's all I know.
Yeah, because all of a
I
sudden,
mean,
like now
literally,
they're willing
a
to.
simple apology, bro. That might be
all of
all
us-
that's needed.
Because all of a sudden they wanna, they're willing to play to other organizations, right? Fuck out of here, man.
Dana needs to get down on his knees and say, I apologize for being an asshole, and I will never speak
wanna hear
down on the
something
almighty
funny,
finishing bodies again."
The funny thing also, because here's the thing, they also, even though they kind of sort of count on the money of the the TKO, they weren't counting on the Cheeks money, right? So they were huffing and puffing all this time, counting on that money, but now they don't have it anymore. The chick was like, I'm not paying all these Americans like crazy. They see me all like a pendejo. I go on Twitter. Tú sabes. Like, like, because
Like Telk would say, a cabroncito.
exactly. So you don't see him giving down crazy money anymore. Like he was giving to Fury, he was giving to Usyk like that. He's not giving that crazy money like that anymore, right? If you don't go in to for a big fight, he's not gonna pay crazy money for your tune-ups, and even for the crazy fight, he's not paying like that anymore. Because I think he said no to what's his name, to Frank Warren. He also say no to a couple of things to Dana White. So that's what I'm saying. Like Dana White now, he's not hopping and buffing anymore. Because the decisions that he did with other people's money, make him look bad.
Well,
He doesn't
speaking of
know what
that,
he's doing for real.
I don't know if we can get away from this whole Zuffa thing.
Yeah, go
100%. But did you hear also the other news that you just put up there? Bam is going to be taking on Vargas, and they're saying, because the Sheik said he's willing to make that fight. He wants that Bam versus Inoue fight later this year. And apparently Bam said after the fight, he's going to be calling out Inoue. So we might be getting Bam versus Inoue, and they're saying it might be on Netflix.
I seen that too. That's a great fight, but the question I asked you is, man, they got to put it on Saturday night for us, right?
Ah, come on. I mean, first of all, I got to call you out on that, Frank. You know me.
Go
I
ahead.
got to keep it real. I got to keep it real.
Keep it a
You
buck.
guys over in the West Coast, you have it so easy, man. When there's fights in Las Vegas and whatever, over there for you guys, the main event, it's 8, 9 p.m.
Right.
Here, by the time the main event starts, I already hear the birds start chirping. And the sun's starting to come
Exactly,
out.
bro. Like
So
in
if-
Nashville, man, all we like in Tennessee, all we got was TBL last night watching Ortiz knock out some can who was 0-6 in the league.
That ain't right. That ain't right. So if on
Exactly, bro.
if it's on a Saturday and you gotta stay up at 4 in the morning to watch it, Frankie, sorry, man. Now you know how we feel.
That would screw over the American fans.
No, yeah, you're right. It would, man. It would. Because I remember, look, whether it's at 9 p.m. the main event or 11, whatever, I feel like shit when there's a fight at 6 a.m. On a Saturday, and then there's another main event later on at night. Like the last time we had Inoue and Nakatani, and then that very same day, Benavidez versus Ramirez. That was hell, man. Because I didn't even take a nap in between.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Who wants to
But
take
once
a
you're up,
nap?
you're up, though. Yeah, once you're up, you're doing stuff, and you feel worse sometimes. You feel a little bit more groggy.
Exactly. I know I'm Mexican and we got the stereotype of la siesta, but I don't take fucking naps, man.
But in all my boxing life, has there ever been a mega event that you had to get up at 4 a.m. for?
I don't, well, I mean, I know it's
Yo,
probably not in your
sure,
lifetime,
man.
but
Sure, Buakaw versus Senchai.
okay,
Of
come on.
course.
I remember when Calzaghe they bent to the Americans. Calzaghe, Hatton.
Yeah.
Wasn't Hatton fighting on Saturday? Saturday
5 in the
night
morning
for
over
us?
there. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
so
they
over
would
there it
do it
was
the
like
other
5.
way around, right? So that's what I'm saying, man. And Nui's got to bend the knee on this one, but that's what I was saying. Doesn't he? I would big time Bam, right? Nah, fuck that. Little Beaner, you're gonna come over here and fight when I tell you to fight.
Oh, that's a little bit.
Yeah, right? Don't you do that to Bam? Like you start pulling some A-side shit?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's how Inoue does it, though, but
But if it's on Netflix, doesn't Netflix put their foot down and tell Inui who's boss?
yeah,
He
probably,
wants that
depending.
big 25 million he'd probably get.
But you know how much money they'd have to pay whichever network over there in Japan airs the fight? It's got to be a huge number.
On top of what they're already paying for the purses, right?
Exactly.
But for the fight itself, because things were getting dry real quick, but for the fight itself, at first I thought it was a fantasy fight. I didn't think this fight was possible. I didn't like it for Bam Rodriguez. I kind of still don't like it. I thought he was going to work himself up to Inui. Maybe Inui takes some damage. But now it looks like they're pushing for it. Is it too soon?
I think it's just right.
Just right.
Mm-hmm. Because Inoue, he's still a marvel, but he's slowing down, especially at 122. And I know Bam would have to be jumping up a lot of weight divisions, but I don't know. Inoue, there seemed to be there was a vulnerability in the Nakatani fight. And look, Nakatani was underrated going into that fight after struggling against Hernandez. So people forget how much of a physical specimen he is for that weight class. I mean, he's a tall guy, rangy, he can crack, he's got excellent timing. Inoue had to mind his P's and Q's in there to win it. And even though Bam is obviously shorter, way shorter than Nakatani, he doesn't pack, at least I don't think at 122 he would be packing
he's
the
a
same.
proper midget Tejano weight.
Well, there you go. Yeah, he's a midget Tejano. That's a good name for a band. But I don't see Bam having at 122 because we don't know what type of firepower or whether his firepower is going to carry to 122. But again, he sets a very high pace. He's got those gloves up. He's the closest thing we have to Lomachenko right now. He applies that same type of pace. He tires people out. But again, it's a risk. But hey, Inoue has been looking a little bit more vulnerable now, so the time is right. Because if he fights him too later, first of all, Inoue is not going to stay at 122 for much longer. So the time is right. The time is now.
Exactly, bro. Knock out Vargas and just say, "Bam, you're next," or Inui, you're next.
Well, who are you
Facts.
picking? Who would you pick between Bam and Inoue, Telk?
Bam by knockout.
Whoa,
doubt.
Confident.
whoa! It's interesting because you were picking Cafu to beat Bam.
Yeah, but Bam shows his class. I mean, he defeated a freaking Puma on Scante and Cocaína. That's unbelievable, bro. Did you not see Puma at the freaking weigh-in? He like,
Yeah.
Viva Argentina! I was like, bro, man, this guy's fucked up.
Scante and cocaine. I think we should say allegedly, by the way.
And man, he reminded me of that time when Maradona got popped at the '94 World Cup.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a good reference right there. Especially since the World Cup's coming up.
The commentary of the members of the podcast doesn't reflect the
Facts.
There
BDA
you
Booty
go.
Juice is back chasing you down. I think.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
He
I think
knows,
they were trying to
I
go.
think he's watching you, bro.
Who knows who's gonna win this time?
He hasn't been on since you show up. Every time you show up, he somehow is able to show up. So maybe he's in your Discord.
He's a big fan. But yeah, man, I mean, look, this whole thing with Bam and Inoue, that would be a huge fight. And Bam, I'm telling you, man, I think he could push Inoue a little bit. I don't know if Bam can sustain, if his guard can sustain Inoue's firepower, but that's why we watch these fights, to see what happens. If Bam loses, okay, so what? He took a risk. Big deal.
Yeah, I don't like it for Bam Rodriguez. I think it's too soon. I'd like to see Inui take some serious damage. I'm playing the Floyd Mayweather game. You always ask me the angles, right?
Mhm.
That was what Floyd Mayweather was masterful at, right? Oh, Cotto gets his ass kicked. Yeah, I'll fight him now. Who else did he do that? Zab Judah loses. I'll fight him. I mean, have we ever seen a fighter?
I'll fight him.
But have we ever seen a fighter that strategic and that smart? I mean, I don't call him smart cunning, But
Yeah,
what other
cunning, yeah.
fighter was able to do that? Because I don't remember. Did Oscar play that? Was he? I mean, I know he took on Chavez at the right time, but isn't that part of boxing? That has to be 90%, right? Getting a guy at the right time.
Well, early in a fighter's career, but when they're in their prime, then it starts looking a little bit yellow bellied, and that's what I'm saying here.
Right.
Yeah, you know, you ask who's doing that right now? The Haney's. They are the masters of it. I mean, that Brian Norman fight, that was a stroke of genius if you think about it, because Norman was scoring a couple of knockouts against nondescript opposition. That managed to excite everybody. Then all of a sudden, hey, Haney's taking him on. He's like, whoa, you see, we're taking on the boogeyman, blah, blah, blah. And then they beat him by a jab and clinchathon, and they want to paint that as a masterpiece. I mean, that's what ESPN said. ESPN, and I quote, said it was a brilliant display of boxing.
Snackford says Crawford. Yeah, he's done the same thing, right? He's got guys at the right time. Khan getting brutally knocked out. Porter on his last leg. Canelo.
I mean, it's the Mayweather effect, bro. That's exactly what it is.
But it's smart. I mean, that's been traditionally boxing, though, right? Like even the greats, Leonard, Hagler, Duran,
fight the best at their worst to get the best perception. There you go.
But with Tyson Fury facing Klitschko at the end, that's just how boxing works, though, right?
Not really. I mean, just because some people do it, that doesn't mean that's how it should work.
Yeah, no, but I mean, for Bam,
some people see that as cowardly, to be honest. You know, like
I know. I'm just saying though, it's smart when you're managing a fighter, you're his promoter, you're trying to do the best for him. And so for Bam, I'm like, damn, Anui, did he show signs of slippage against Nakatani? Maybe a little bit.
I mean, he's susceptible to that left hand, bro. So that's why Bam will find that left hand.
He's susceptible to that left hand, but again, to BD's point, Nakatani is a huge 122er. What's his name? Bam. Even against guys in his division, in some fights he's looked quite small. So I don't know, man. I think it's too big. In my opinion, Nakatani, sorry. Inoue should go up to 126 and just go out like a man.
Who's pouring a beverage right now?
Oh, sorry, that was me.
It's beer o'clock somewhere.
Well, yeah, what are you drinking?
Coffee.
Coffee? Are you on the West Coast or the East Coast?
I'm the East Coast.
What the fuck? Are you drinking coffee at 9 p.m.?
Listen, man, I'm Caribbean, To me, this is just like this is just like tea.
So it's probably not even fucking like this light tea or what? I mean, light coffee. It's probably a strong coffee or something you drink.
Bustelo, man, the Colombia's finest, my guy.
Goodness gracious! At 9 p.m.
like
night.
a baby.
Yeah, I bet, man. Frank, what's the latest you drink coffee or caffeine, if you even drink it?
Probably this time right now. I just had a sip.
You guys are nuts, man.
Oh, well,
you guys are nuts,
Frankie. Thank you.
It's 6 o'clock where I'm at. It's better than a beer.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're on the West Coast,
right
No, but even then, 6 p.m. It's too late, man, to be drinking caffeine.
I used to drink a lot of coffee. Believe it or not, when I was training, I could drink like 2 tall coffees and then maybe one on the way home at 9. So I've cut back a lot.
Yeah, you guys want to have hypertension and all that other stuff, don't you?
Well,
no,
that
you
case can
cut
happen,
back.
right?
You cut back now.
How about you, man?
I don't drink as like coffee like crazy.
I don't drink. I don't take in caffeine and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, doing pretty good. I mean, I eat like natural sugars from fruits, vegetables, and yeah, pretty good.
Well, as long as you drink water with whatever you're doing.
Oh yeah,
you'll be okay. Drink a lot of water.
Man, I drink a lot of water, bro.
But I don't recommend you drink coffee. I just had a little bit right now because we're talking. He says he prefers meth. And most people at the time hit the pub, right? They hit the pub. D-Block said he's drunk.
Hey, I would rather, I would rather like smoke tree and, do something like that, Nate Diaz style.
Well, I used to go to the gym at this time. You get
like all them people, man, are doing all that drinking shit. All that slows you down and makes you look really dumb. sometimes.
This is
with all due
you get off
respect,
work at this time.
puts on
It's funny
people.
though, cause
But you know, getting drunk can really make you fumble the bag sometimes.
Well, I
that's
don't
funny though,
recommend
cause
it.
Just ask Jamal Charlo and Jamal Charlo.
you want to hear something funny though? The most, I don't want to call him losers, but the most slackers and disappointments at the gym are the smokers though.
Smokers at the
Like-
gym. What kind of smoker goes to a gym?
Like weed smokers.
Yeah, I've seen a
Oh.
couple, man. I've seen a couple. They
Well,
tell me
that's
they
more
feel more
vaping now,
relaxed.
right?
I mean, cigarette smokers, man. Like I
You know who I seen do it the most? Believe it or not, women.
I mean, Mike
Women vape
Tyson
at the
used to
gym.
smoke weed and go to the ring. What are you talking about?
And
Prime
look
Iron
how he
Mike.
ended up.
Mike
Look how
Tyson.
he ended up.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. Though. Mike
I
Tyson
mean,
started
Prime
doing
Iron
it.
Mike knocked people out, bro.
No, it was no prime Mike.
World champ.
It was no prime Mike. Crazy. He started doing that shit when
He was
Dr.
prime.
Mark
He
died
was
and
prime in the '80s, bro. He was prime when he was young, when he knocked out Burgess.
He was not smoking weed when he was with Customato.
Yeah, you're pretty sure he was, bro.
No, he wasn't.
He was doing meth when he was with Cousin Mom.
You know
with
they're
Custom
around.
Dude,
You know they're around
here's the
people
thing,
like
though,
that.
with
You know, don't worry about
Customato,
it.
man, with Customato, he wasn't even having sex.
Hey,
Much
wow.
like
He might have been having sex with Cousin Mom. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
probably.
Hey,
I mean,
hey,
that's
that
what some people have been
sciatica,
saying.
man. Sciatica, man. You gotta put that down, man. Otherwise, you're not even gonna walk in the ring.
Because the
are
thing
you talking
about weed, weed is the drug for slackers, man. Like it gets you comfortable, you get complacent. You know, I trained people before like they smoke weed, man, and they they're slackers. You know, and it fucked up your lungs at the same time. You know, people say it doesn't, but it
Yeah, it
does.
really depends what you do, bro. It really depends what you
It
do.
does. It does, man. It does.
Yeah, if it's the people that tell me that they have to smoke weed is usually because if they don't, they get too tense. So in that scenario,
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
between
don't
if it's
ever
between that if it's
make a
between that
crutch
and
of
taking
anything.
if it's between that and taking pharmaceuticals, then and you feel more comfortable taking weed, all right, fine. But I'm just not convinced that for a long time, and Joe Rogan's played a part in this. They've been trying to normalize cannabis use as if it's just a plant, bro. Yeah, but you're smoking that stuff. It's turning into smoke into your lungs. Whether you're using a vaporizer or you're eating the marijuana, it's still a depressant. I'm not saying that it's going to depress you, meaning it's going to give you a mental depression that you're going to feel like you want to kill yourself. But what I'm saying is it lowers your inhibitions or your tension, in other words. So in that sense, it's good. But people tend to overdo it, thinking, "Oh, it's just a plant. It's just like drinking a cup of tea." And no, it's stronger than that.
What people seems to do not mention is that highly, highly, highly lowers your testosterone. That's what people don't mention.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Fucks up your testosterone.
Yeah, that's
and
if you
and your
remain
hormones.
lazy. Yeah, because it may
And your
try to make.
hormones too.
If you smoke
the
like an
biggest-
indigo,
If
right,
you-
it'll drive
if
you.
you
It'll make
somebody
you
who
lazy as
smokes-
hell, man.
If you somebody who smokes a lot of weed and you eat a lot of like anabolic foods, in the sense of like build muscle, like chicken, rice, and all that, like you're not gonna enjoy the same effects, or you're not gonna enjoy the same good benefits of your workout because once you're always dehydrated, two, your nervous system is always shut down. In the sense of it's always like calm down, and certain muscles won't react. A lot of people can work out like really well, but what often that happens is, they can work out well or whatever, but when they quit, they ended up happening what they work out better.
The
less
biggest
fatigue.
thing I always heard about marijuana was that it's a stimulant for creativity. So somebody doing something like this, anything creative, right? That should help. That's what I was always told. That,
From what I understand, there's two branches of. There's sativa and what's the other one?
Indica.
Indica. Yeah, one of those is the one that's supposed to give you the creativity. But I don't know. It's still a depressant either or, right?
It is a depressant. So
Nah, it
gives
makes you laugh. It
creativity,
makes you
so
laugh. You giggle and get the.
No, but that's what I'm
get the
saying. When I
munchies.
gotta reiterate. When I say depressant, I don't mean that it makes you sad. What I'm saying is it
Oh, it's a downer.
relaxes you. Yeah, it's a downer,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
It's a downer.
It,
yeah.
it's like alcohol, it shuts down certain parts of your body. So it depresses it. It says so. Makes it smaller.
Yeah, like for example, right
And
now
says
I would certainly not smoke any marijuana because right now it's 9 p.m. here, and it's like, if anything, I would need caffeine at this point in the day.
so
The weed
people
would only.
misunderstand, like, when they say
I mean, whatever you
recreational.
do, don't do Scante, man. I don't want you up for 5 days.
Well, I never thought about it. I
So
didn't
the
wake up
thing
and be like,
is,
should I try some scante today?
to Frankie's point, it's recreation. It's give you like opens your mind or whatever the fuck
Yeah, for
weed
like
smokers been saying.
music and writing, anything
Yeah, but
where you do
exactly, but that's
creative endeavors.
recreational. No, but that's recreational, right? But these motherfuckers, they wanna act like recreational. It's like if you smoke on your free time, it's different. Like if you smoke all day, or like you smoke as soon as you get out of work all
Yeah.
night, it's not the same as you do it. While you play music, while you're
Well, I feel
drawing.
like you do need some kind of stimulant for like a BDA. You do the documentaries, right? So
I
you
do the
need
document.
something, right? Like when I used to work out, I took different supplements to help. But just doing stuff like that, sometimes you need something.
No, again,
Writing,
I'm not
music,
against it.
videos.
I'm not against it. My point is, if you do it recreational, because that's my point. If you're doing it like that, like for one purpose, like documentaries, if you're writing down, if you're training, sometimes you're doing it recreational. But if you're just like sitting down watching YouTube videos or
Oh, you being a
movies, or
bum, a couch potato, a
exactly
slacker,
that,
like a
like
slacker.
that's
That
yeah.
stereotype. So I said, BDA, do you use supplements? Do you use anything to get in the zone?
Cocaine.
Yes, I start just doing a bunch of push-ups and I start punching myself. No, no, look, I drink
Just
caffeine.
flaca.
That's what, and that's the interesting thing. The caffeine, it can't. That's the thing. I think. Look, marijuana use. I don't got anything against it. It's like anything else, though. If you're using it all the time, just because now you've normalized it, and it happened to me a little for a while there with caffeine. I was drinking like 5 green teas a day, just
Ooh.
because it became the thing where, wow, well, I want to stay this energetic throughout the day. And now, man, like Telkain said, that can cause hypertension if you're drinking caffeine constantly throughout the day.
Do the crash out, yeah.
Well, I
Are
feel
you
like
gonna? Yeah.
you do it because you get in a zone, right? Like I want to lock in for this video. I got some work to do, so like when I used to study, that's when I would drink a lot of coffee. Like hit a
Mhm.
Starbucks and just sit there and get
No,
get
but it's a
cups of
purpose
coffee.
behind it. You know what I mean? There's a purpose behind it. But if you're doing it just like a couch potato, like yeah, it's when you run into some problems.
Oh yeah,
Even
Look,
no,
you know,
even if you do, I don't know, harmless things as a beer.
that's what some people do with the Adderall. For people that don't know, Adderall is a stimulant, and there's people that use it to study and all that. A lot of students in the past 20 years, they've used that as a secret weapon. But then there's other people that are like, oh, when I go to the movies or when I go to a party, they take Adderall because they feel that if they don't take Adderall, they're going to be boring. Meanwhile, they show up to the party and they won't shut the fuck up. It sounds like they're on cocaine.
oh
That's the
my
thing.
god.
When you start using things just for the hell of it all throughout the day because you think it's without it you can't survive, that's when it becomes a problem. It's an addiction essentially.
That, and they'll do the same thing. All addiction do the same thing, which what lowers your awareness down. So all of a sudden, just because your weed dealer, he's asleep, you all of a sudden fall
Yeah.
asleep on the staircase just because you're waiting on him, without thinking, people's gonna get out and see you sleeping on the staircase, little kids and shit like
What?
that.
Wait, repeat the whole thing. I didn't catch it. What?
No, I'm saying, like, if you're like a like like somebody like who does certain substances, at the end of the day, it's gonna lower your self awareness, right? Any type of drug, it's weed, alcohol, perks, coke, anything.
So you say that
So
people who smoke weed are gonna end up sleeping in the stairway?
I'm not saying just weed, but in general, if you have any dependency, you're gonna end up having your self awareness all the way down to the ground, and you're gonna end up doing funny things. I'm not talking about just weed. I'm talking about in general. Just
Like
like
sucking
just
back.
sleeping, yeah, sleeping outside of your like dealership's house or apartment on the
Damn.
staircase. You know, people just passing by you.
Well, see, I
Specific
that
Using
you know
example.
what, but that's the difference. When I think of drugs, I think for productivity. Oh, that's just the way I was raised. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna do something for
no,
productivity.
but
Whether
again, Frankie, if you're doing it for a purpose, again, people mistakenly say recreational, and then mistakenly say that I just do it every day all day, as long as I don't do coke or as long as I don't do anything dangerous. They think that's recreational. When recreational is, you match it with activity just to make it more joyful or just to like relax you. I don't have nothing
Yeah.
against that. But
Let,
if you're doing it like a couch potato, just because I'm gonna circle of
true.
friends, I'm gonna smoke like 5 fucking 6 blunts, shit like that, just because of the love of the art. That's when you. That's when you're
Or
a
you could
fucking
just
crackhead.
smoke weed and do Ostarine. You know, you could
Oh
always
my
Huh?
do that.
gosh.
Smoke
That,
weed
that's
and
a nice
Oscar.
combo, man. That's a nice combo.
When I was in the gym and I used to work out, I thought about trying, steroids or something like that, but then I just didn't. I couldn't imagine being addicted to something. You know, like I don't know. It blows my mind to be addicted to any one thing where you need it, like you're a dope fiend.
That's funny that you
Cause
mentioned that though.
uh huh.
That nowadays you see a lot of kids on not necessarily steroids, but on peptides.
I've heard that's the newest thing, right? Everybody's talking about that.
What's it? What exactly
It,
is a peptides?
so it's not necessarily a steroid. It's like a
Is it
hormonal
illegal?
treatment.
That's the first
It,
thing. Is it
it's not.
illegal?
No,
It's not, or it's like not really. Like in
it's
your world, you're
not.
like, nah, it's not
It's
really. Like there's a
illegal in
okay, it's
professional
illegal
sports.
then.
No, it's professional sports, right? So it's not illegal for personal use, but it's illegal to push it, like steroids in general, in some states, right? Depending where you live. Like I live in Jersey, so it's illegal to push it, but it's legal to you consume it for your own, right? So you can have a whole fucking, I don't know how that works, but a whole kilo of steroids. You don't go into jail, but if you're selling it, yeah, you're gonna run into some problems.
Okay, but is it illegal to buy it? Like, let's say you have it and I'm buying it. It's
Depends where
illegal
you
to.
buy it. You can get
No, you're
that
saying it's
prescribed
not
by your
illegal if you
doctor.
get a. So it's like any drug though, right? Like if I get a prescription for Adderall, it's legal, but I can't be walking around and a cop stops me and I got like 3 bottles of Adderall. I'm
Yeah,
still in
exactly.
trouble.
If
Okay,
the cop doesn't have your name on it, yeah, you fucked up.
so
Well,
it's
first of all,
illegal
if,
then.
if you're in possession of something and a cop pulls you over, you're not in trouble quite yet, there, Frank. You should know
Right.
your rights, man. Just because you have something doesn't mean you're guilty.
Exactly. No, exactly. It's really hard to like go check you just because you really been doing something fucking wrong to check you like that, going to your pockets and shit. But no, yeah, the 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 peptides now they're getting it from China, so you can get a whole fucking load for like 200 and sell each little bottle for like 180, which is the regular price of the
Damn.
streets.
But then you're just a drug dealer.
If you the guy who pushing and you get popped with like the whole fucking load, yeah,
Okay, but okay.
that's
So,
when.
what exactly is a peptide? What is it? What chemical composition? Where does it stand, or what is it?
So it's like so the steroids are basically just a soy elevated
Hmm.
peptides. How can I explain it? It's basically it's kind of natural, It's just like a short chain of amino acids. Uh, because they're specific, you know, they just cut like a specific parts of it and just hype that up and give you some benefits like like skin, testosterone goes up and shit like that.
Hmm.
So they're like the friendly version of steroids, right? They give you most of the benefits, just a little bit of the side effects, right? And there's some proteins they actually have like peptides, which again is not like you doing steroids. You can find some benefits of doing peptides, but if you don't have a reason to do them, you're gonna get the benefits. But keep this in mind: if you don't really need it, like the TRT treatment, like the testosterone treatment therapy, if you don't need it, you're gonna run into some problems later on. You're gonna reap the benefits. You're gonna get jacked. You're gonna get stronger. Doesn't matter your mood. Your testosterone always gonna be high as shit. You're gonna have the testosterone of a bull shark pretty much, but but you're gonna run into some problems later on. Like what? Like you're gonna age rapidly,
See, that's the
just like
thing, man.
steroids. You're gonna get the anxiety of not having the substance anymore like any other drug, because it makes you feel fucking. I know people on that, they've been doing that for years, and they just feel happy. They have vivid dreams. But the thing is, you have to like just to have like a crazy diet, just like steroids. You can be eating a lot of fats. You can drink alcohol because your liver is on a rapid pace. It's burning a lot of fats and burning a lot of shit man quick. And if you give them things, they have to work even harder, like alcohol and a lot of fats, you're gonna run into some problem. Just like bodybuilders, they have to eat like certain things just because they can eat like cheat meals and shit like that, and not that much is because of that.
So the peptides are the new rage then.
Yep.
It is. I've been hearing people at the gym talking about it and online too.
Yeah, they're not that. They're more like a hormonal treatment, pretty much.
It was always the side effects. Like I remember steroids growing up in the gym because my dad used to work out a lot. So I've been around gym culture, but it's always the side effect, like your balls shrink. I don't know if that's an urban legend or like, but I was always hell nah. Like it shrinks your balls or dick. Like it was just that alone was enough to
Here's
be
the
like,
thing,
nah.
Frankie. Even if you do peptides, you're not gonna have those side effects. Like the balls won't shrink, your mood won't go like rage like
Yeah,
that.
all those,
Like, you won't
all
have those
side
effects.
Yeah.
So the thing about peptides is like they're not regulated, right? So they're not approved on humans.
Oh fuck! I mean, damn, that's enough for me to
So
be
that's why in
like,
reality,
hell nah.
you don't
Major red
supposed to
flag.
do them. But there are
God.
certain stuff like GP1s, because they work kind of sort of like the same as GP1s, which is like
Yeah.
diabetic medicine. So some GP1s they don't really approve like that, like Ozempic. Ozempic is because it's been years on the market. I mean, it's a peptide, but it's because it's been in years on use, right? On regulation, it's a peptide, but it's not. They're not gonna if you can start consuming it, for no reason, just because you have a little fat around the stomach. That's when you run into some
Right.
problems. Because I know bodybuilders they use
Well,
like
I mean, people are
insulin
always
and
gonna
shit like
try to
that.
get an edge, right? With anything, with these peptides, it's a new way to get an edge or something with working out,
Well, if you, for example, be having like a
penile
how can I
dysfunction.
Oh,
no, I'm explaining you something. Like if you've been having like problems like with your weight, with your
Uh-huh.
diet, even though you've been having like a good diet, you've been having a lot of like stress, hormonal problems. Yeah, peptides are good for you. Or even if you have like a certain goal, you can hop on peptides and get off on peptides anytime, and you won't have like those crazy effects. But again, that's depending who you get the peptides from. That's when it gets a little funky. Because you can get it for like a Chinese farm that gets really good, or you can get it for like a guy who does it in his bathtub. It's up
is
to
that
you.
where the
Ah.
expression "put some pep in your step" comes from, or like give him a pep talk? Is that from peptides, or
Probably.
because I mean they've been around for a while, right? They must have been around for
Well, steroids in general, they've been around since like the 1930s, right?
right.
But the including in the sports has been since the 1950s. Peptides, they've been around since like the 80s and 90s. Because
Well, see, that's
peptides,
the thing.
they've been.
When you said that,
peptides
that was
has
a
been
major red.
for the longest.
It's a major red flag when you said that it's not human approved, because it's the same thing with steroids. I mean, just look at all those fucking wrestlers that were just taking them indiscriminately in the 80s, and half of those guys or more are dead, and they died in their 40s because they were fucking jacking their
Facts.
Put it
system
like
up.
this, BDA. They've been testing peptides on athletes for the last 100 years.
Peptides.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
actually, they've had performance enhancement for a long time. They've used elixirs to improve athletic enhancement.
Okay, now you're talking
Man, right?
elixir. Sounds like you're talking about medieval shit.
Yeah, you're talking about the man and the HP, right? The health.
I have an
Well,
elixir that you must drink on the
Talking
first
about
full
video
moon.
games, dude.
Yeah, somebody told me they got an elixir for me. Nah, you're not my friend.
An elixir. I mean, just the
Yeah.
word itself makes it sound like a witch gave it to you. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
Shit,
It's
who
talking
would
about
take
Harry
that?
Potter and shit like that,
Eye of Newt and some salamander. Those are the ingredients of the elixir.
Selling, man.
You know what? I've been seeing that. I've been seeing this talk, and I think that guy Clavicular, he's been talking about all these new type of things, and it's just these people that want
Yeah,
to
that guy was a madman.
cheat the system, or cheat the, it's cheating, right? Like,
Yeah, they
you
call
know,
it maxing, right?
No, but
Any
that
type of
dude,
max.
I can explain. That dude does like math. That dude does Botox. He does all that shit. So the thing he does peptides and steroids because he don't want to go to the gym. That's why,
well, it looks like they're going to the gym, but it's just crazy that people are willing to go to these lengths to the,
So
to
what happened is, here's the thing though. You got this increase. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but a lot of these nerds that we just shove it up into lockers and shit like that and whoop their ass.
Did you say that the nurse that
backyard.
I used to shove up in lockers? Is that what you said?
Sure.
That's what
The
I
thing
heard.
is now they're going to the gym and getting stronger and opening channels and getting a little bit of ahead of themselves. So the thing is, they not really like to train. They just use that as, which is cool, you know. They just use that to change their life, which is valid. I think everybody has done it. But
yeah,
the thing is, they all want like a shortcut, And
that's what I was trying to.
nowadays,
Yeah, you got
and
got the
nowadays you
word.
see everything that gives you like a shortcut. If you go into your, YouTube ads, you see like these stick pills that is gonna make your, yeah, increase the size, the arousal, and all
Yeah,
that with a
Those
pill,
don't
right?
work, by the way. Trust me.
You have these ads like, and you see
he
like in the
said that,
video,
or
you
you
guys
said it,
like
BDA?
these
No, I
guys.
say this time
Yeah,
I'm saying it.
So you,
Hey, but
the
Severino,
DA
Severino,
should
aren't you
know
worried?
about Ron Jeremy and his
Hold on.
son, right?
Nah, come
Yo,
on.
what's
No,
up,
but
BDA?
aren't you worried about that one nerd that, because I know it sounds like you shoved a bunch of them in lockers and you turned them upside down and dumped them in toilets. Aren't you worried about that one nerd that actually does train because he's so motivated to kick some ass and he shows up all jacked to your front doors like, Severino, I want you. And it's like, holy shit. You're not
Well,
worried about that.
nah, because then it will be a legit fight. Because I actually fought in the amateurs, man.
Look at you.
So it will be a legit fight.
Hey, but
Don't
can I
worry
say
about it.
something about the clavicular? Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say on this channel. Maybe I shouldn't say.
What? No, go ahead. I mean, don't say anything. I mean, just
No,
use,
yeah, well,
use
yeah.
a clever word.
I'll say this. The big conspiracy now is that people like Clavicular and all those dudes, they're astroturfed. Because just to clarify for people that don't know what this Clavicular fella does, is he's one of those guys that looks maxing. The term maxing now that you put it, the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the acronym, but the disclaimer that you put in front of anything. Like there's looks maxing, there's loads maxing of people who want to shoot bigger loads and all that. I'm serious. There's
Oh my
communities of this. Yeah, that's just the term they use, maxing, for everything. So what they do is
Uh-huh.
they're trying to hack the body in order to maximize its potential. So that's what these looks maxers do. They look for all sorts of little tricks that they can use to appear more attractive. And Clavicular even said at some point that he's depressed, or maybe not depressed isn't the right word, but he said something along the lines of like he's tired of the lifestyle because, like Severino said, every time he goes out, he's got to take a cocktail of a bunch of stimulants. That he's on ketamine and a whole bunch of things just to appear interesting. See, that's what I was alluding to before when I talk about the people that take Adderall just because they're afraid, they're deadly afraid of appearing boring to people. So they're on all this shit. They're always that, like he says, they're doing the Botox. They're trying to maximize their looks through all of that. And somebody said, this is a new theory, that he is actually being funded by Peter Thiel, the big Silicon Valley guru who's part of the Palantir group, which is all about surveillance. And they're saying a lot of these Silicon Valley guys, apparently, the story on them is that they're transhumanists. And even farther than that, they're Gnostics in a large sense. And I don't want to make a big long story short,
Right.
even longer. But what that means is that these people believe that we're living in some sort of simulation. Now, when people hear that, they imagine immediately the Matrix. We're in a computer simulation. Now, simulation means we're in a world it appears real, but there's a high reality above that, and that these people want to break through it. That's what these people believe. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm not making this up. Check it out. Right on Google it.
No, I'm aware of it.
Silicon Valley people, the Atlantic, Gnosticism, the Atlantic, because it was I think it was on the Atlantic, or I forget which publication. It was one of those, New Republic, whatever. And they're talking about that, and apparently it makes sense then what they're saying, that Peter Thiel might be funding Clavicular so that he can influence the young people into
Mm.
it's sort of like a pathway to transhumanism. It's like, hey, you see, you gotta constantly be doing things to your body in order to improve it. That's the only way you can improve, through drugs and through plastic surgery, and then eventually
Isn't
it becomes
that
the normalization of merging with a machine or something
So
like
what
that.
the thing I was trying to say like a little earlier, that's what like the thing about the nerds comes in, right? They always have these like
it's always
new,
the nerd, right? Yeah.
yeah, they're always trying to, because the thing is they don't want to go to the effort, right? Because it's
But
just
they want to take
stupid.
over. They've been bullied and they want to take over.
No, I mean I was just like trying to be funny when I was saying like the bully stuff, but like all jokes aside, they want to like actually like look handsome. They don't want to look like losers. They don't want to actually look like the nerds that they
Yeah,
actually
but
are, right?
that's the crazy thing is well, what BDA was saying, isn't that just hippie culture transformed?
Well,
Yeah,
in a lot
but
of ways,
Because that was
if you
the
look,
in a
whole
lot of
hippie thing
ways,
was transforming through psychedelics. Was that you could alter reality and come
see,
out?
Frank pretends that he doesn't know any of this, and meanwhile he's up on all of it. Yeah, because there's documentation
that's
that
all the
proves that
books, right?
a lot of these rich families, they actually introduced psychedelics into the mainstream culture, and they had contacts with certain organizations to do so. And the exact purpose for that, it's a little bit longer. It takes a little bit longer to explain. But yeah, they've. I mean, and look, the Grateful Dead, one of the big hippie groups of the late 60s and 70s. Two of those members, I don't know if they're still alive. They used to be regulars at the Bohemian Grove. So what?
Well,
And then
isn't
you look.
yeah. But no, the drugs has always been music has always been about drugs, right? Drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
Well,
Half
especially
the
in the
music is
hippie era.
about altering your mind through drugs. I mean, that's what we're talking about, essentially drugs and transforming your body or mind to find a higher a higher pathway. But it's so dangerous.
You know what? Yeah, that's why I was mentioning earlier Joe Rogan too. That's one of those dudes that's normalizing. And I used to listen. I listened to Rogan pretty much from the beginning in 2010. Like he started in
Yeah,
2009, I
same.
think. I was listening by 2010, and by 2011, 2012, he was pushing a whole bunch of things. Like one of the things that's when I stopped listening to him in 2013 when he said kale shakes. Kale shakes are great for you, blah blah. Blah. And I
Oh,
used to
it's
make him all the
gross.
time. What he didn't mention was that you got to boil the kale because it's a cruciferous
Mm.
vegetable. So if you don't boil it, it starts seeping through your skin and you stink.
Ooh.
And I didn't know what the fuck. I was like, what's going on here? I did
Yeah.
malodorous condition or something. I get it. No, it was a fucking kale. I stopped drinking and all of a sudden it went away. So yeah, that's when I said, all right, I gotta take what he says with a grain of salt. And now what is he pushing? He's hanging out with the fucking Silicon Valley people, pushing transhumanism, that the carnivore diet, which is all meat. And now there's a debate about whether that kills the gut flora essentially, or essentially creates an imbalance, and it creates all
Mhm.
sort of issues. I mean, I think he pushed that onto Jordan Peterson, who was taking pharmaceuticals, and he went on an all carnivore diet. And I don't know. I'm not a
Oh my
physician or
God.
whatever, but I can't imagine it. Maybe that combination of those things ended up causing his downfall. Because now I don't know if you heard, but
Yeah,
Jordan Peterson, he's in his
that
deathbed or
carnivore
something.
diet has like its benefits. For example, if you have like an allergen, like in skin or whatever, it might benefit you, but long term is fucking toxic. The same guy who was pushing that shit had like run into like my fucking problems. He he went away. He went away for like 3 years. And he after that he came back and wrote a book. How was that?
Yeah,
After
but
getting
see, that's
sick.
the interesting thing. That the reason why I brought up Joe Rogan to make us to turn around was because he's also one of the guys that's been pushing psychedelics for a long time now, and
Yeah, he has.
he sort of normalizes it. Like, oh yeah, ibogaine and the DMT and the
Alpha
ayahuasca,
brain.
yeah, alpha brain and the marijuana. And I'm thinking like Serena was saying, that's a depressant, the marijuana. You're smoking that, and look, we every 3-4 years the science changes, right? That's what we heard during the pandemic. The science changes. Well, every 3-4 years a new study. This is good for you. No, actually isn't good for you. No, actually this is
Mhm.
good for you. And with marijuana, I see kids nowadays, kids in their teenage years starting to smoke marijuana a lot. And I'm thinking, how is that affecting the brain? Because the brain is still developing at that point.
Right.
And you're taking a depressant every other day, or if not every day. It's gotta be affecting it somehow.
It does. People say it doesn't affect you, but it really does. Like, I'm not gonna say like make you stupid per se, but any substance will make you, for the lack of a better term, slower. You know, because again, your perceptional abilities are lower. Your self awareness is lower. You start doing stuff that you know you're not supposed to do. I'm not saying illegal, but things that any other person will be embarrassed. Like you seems to not care. Um, you don't care how you look or you perceive or you are perceived. You know what I mean? Like you just live your life from high to high.
Yeah, yeah, no, but with the all this drug talk, and you're talking about these that guy clavicularies being funded, but that's the crazy thing is these young people, they're young. Like, why would you need all these things being young? When I was like young like that, I just needed my balls. Like I just was full of juice already. Like you know what I'm saying? I didn't need anything. I could drink a soda or a beer and I was ready to go. I didn't need a bunch of
I'm with you
these
on
guys
that
are
one, man.
crazy.
If you're
Yeah,
doing
like
if you're doing steroids, being that young man, you're telling your balls there's something wrong with them. There's nothing
or
wrong with
no
my balls.
well, whatever these guys, they're young, they're 19, 18, and maybe they were nerdy, but why would you start wanting to do cocktails of drugs? You don't know that's gonna have an after effect, or even a grown ass man, because grown ass men listen to Joe Rogan.
So,
Like,
what do you
why
think
would you
with
want to
kids
be
nowadays?
addicted to something? Could you
What
imagine
you
being 30 and a family man and start getting addicted to drugs? It's crazy.
So here's the thing, though. What do you see kids nowadays, right? They don't have a lot of thing going on with their heads. They want to be streamers. They always slur their words. You know, they barely
Would they
know how
say
to
that the
read.
young people are having a lot less sex? The young
Way less
people
sex.
are not having a lot of sex anymore. It's like, dude, that was a freaking hornball.
Yeah,
Like,
but now you see, to your point, which I see a lot. I'm in my 30s, early 30s, but I see girls, in their early to mid 20s, all the way to like late 20s, actually talking to guys around my age, you know, because guys around their age, they just on drugs and, being losers. No, but, for the most part, they are.
yeah,
Or
whatever
they're
the
not
reason.
like
I
how
know
they
they
call
said
it.
that.
Of not, they all like big mama boys. They don't know how to do
I don't know.
nothing. They barely know how to cook. I mean, they barely can keep a job, you know. Um, and that's it. They only can keep a job. They can do nothing outside of playing video games. They're no go
Yeah.
getter, you know.
Well,
Just
I
doing
mean, the
things and
guy
play video games.
Cavicular, he's young, right? He's like 19, 20, 21, or something like that.
Yeah, he's like 21.
Yeah, and he's promoting these messages with drugs and things like that. But that's the thing. I would never felt the need to do that. Now I'd be at the clubs and everything. I used to go out all the time, but I couldn't imagine like chiseling my face. I don't know. These guys are doing
Yeah, but also
crazy
like the
shit.
music that they be listening to, for the longest. It's all about the drugs and how to be like, how you call it, uh, be retarded, be stupid. You know what I mean? Go
Hmm.
stupid, be retarded. So that's like the whole thing. So being
No,
stupid
just
and
see
retarded
porn,
is like
bro.
the new
Just see
thing
porn
now.
and you'll be fine.
That being the whole I don't know,
Well, I was
if you see like
stupid. I did stupid shit,
me too, we all did stupid shit, but I wasn't stupid.
but I wasn't trying to do drugs with it. I wasn't. I mean, I drank beer. I would get
That's what I mean.
sloppy
Like we
drunk
did stupid
sometimes.
shit, but we didn't do like
Cocktails of drugs and shit.
yeah, exactly. They are how dude. Kids nowadays they call you a square if you never done a perk. I've never done none of that
I've
shit.
never done that. No, I never even did
And
Molly.
listen, I won't judge you if you have tried it. I won't judge you. Like my best friend have
Yeah.
done cocaine and DMT, but he
Well,
never
yeah, I
have
know a
done it
bunch
like
of motherfuckers.
again.
They did drugs, but they weren't addicted to drugs. Like,
Exactly. Like I know how much of guys have done drugs, even crack.
oh shit, nah, hell nah.
No, but they're not addicted. That's what I mean. Like they're not addicted.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't around when they did it, you know.
Yeah,
But they
yeah,
have told
yeah.
me like, yeah, like with an open chest, like, yeah, man, I tried that. Like,
But man, I
like
mean now
white boys are at
grown
college. Like, yeah, I know a whole bunch of white boys at college that did crack and
oh
methamphetamines.
crack, no, that's a different level of drug. I know people did ecstasy, Molly, uh those type of drugs, for party purposes, but never got addicted to them.
funny enough, man, you might not believe that, but a lot of women, especially like with money, they're addicted to crack.
Crack cocaine? Like, did you
Like
go to
crack, dude,
the
because there are
ghetto
levels
to
to crack.
get?
No, because there are levels to cracks. I didn't know that. Like the highest levels, they're actually as
Let me
expensive
ask you
as
something. Have you
cocaine.
ever seen crack? Has anybody ever seen crack?
I seen it.
No, I've never seen it.
You've never seen a crack rock? I had an uncle. He
It
was
looks
a
like
police
salt, like a
officer.
salt. It looks
Man,
like a
he would
salt.
have it on him. And he showed me.
What? He would just
Yeah,
carry
yeah.
crack with him.
No, he like had it on him from like a bus or something like that.
Man, that's what he told you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Strictly
he showed
medicinal
me,
purposes. Yeah.
and it looks like soap. It's just disgusting. I was like, ugh, that. He's like, yeah, this is what these people smoke on the street. I'm
I've
like,
seen Flaca though.
You mean Scante? You talking about meth?
Flaca is the one that makes you go nuts.
I don't know.
Synthetic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, crack looks like, I don't know. It's disgusting. It looks literally like a toenail kind of sometimes. And it's a
So
little
the
ball,
way I
little
saw
rock.
crack, is because I saw it on the ground and somebody actually pointed out to me. Like you see how like I don't know if you know how like cracks, like the dealers, they sell it. They
Put them
like
in,
in
I
their-
need a disclaimer, but this is not the opinions of Frank Bay talking about crack.
That's
This
right.
is a boxing show.
Yeah, this is me.
Yeah,
and
because you got
Viraj.
Severino talking about how good crack is and peptides.
Hey, my name is
Holy
Viraj. I said
shit.
it right. No, but the way like they sell it, right? They just put like in their in their mouth, so they keep
The
it there
crack?
like around like
No, I know they
yeah, the
smoke
crack.
it, right? You smoke.
No,
you
but I mean
smoke-
like who sells it, so they don't put it in their pocket.
I'm gonna say something crazy. Have you ever seen a crack pipe? Has anybody listening? Unless we scare anybody away, have you ever seen a crack pipe
Yeah, I've seen it on the ground.
on the internet.
on the internet? No, I've seen a crack pipe because my uncle had a crack pipe too. He was law enforcement. He was law enforcement. And it's
Mhm,
disgusting. It's like you wouldn't believe when
So
you
you-
look at it. It's just like this
so-
glass dip.
Have you ever
See?
had? Have you ever seen? Have you ever? Have
Your
you ever?
uncle was this in
I saw this
Washington
guy,
training day, man.
hit a crack pipe before training before.
Have you ever seen
Yeah.
a bunch of human trafficking victims? Because my uncle had a bunch of them in his basement. He would show them to me.
No. I've seen the pictures though.
Oh.
Nah, just kidding.
I thought it was a
Disclaimer,
stretch.
disclaimer.
BDA, you see, you lied to me. You said it was a sweatshop.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's like really small. It's almost like it's ceramic, and you see all the stains from when the smoker smokes it.
Damn.
It's just something I couldn't imagine. It's just like when I seen people do heroin, not seen in real life. That I never
Mhm.
seen. But the needles, I couldn't imagine. I was like, I always thought like, how could you use a needle
So
to do
I've
drugs?
never seen like the actual people doing it, but I've seen them like right there. I don't know if you ever drove or been in Philadelphia. So that city is really dirty. Yeah, where Boost Energy is from. So if you ever been into that city, you see like the zombies around around like underneath the train, and you see them with the needles stuck in the arms, just looking like the
Yeah.
Matrix, been kissing kissing the back of their heels, like
Yeah,
bent all
no,
the
but
way down and shit.
I just mentioned that because like crack is something disgusting, and I mean cocaine. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen cocaine and done cocaine. Disclaimer, never have, but
Just Frankie had the
but it looks
okay?
normal. Like it looks normal. It's small, it's tiny,
yeah.
it's clean. It looks normal. But when you start talking about things like crack and heroin, it's just like, man, where the hell did you go wrong? Because just looking at it, and you ever seen how they make crack? My uncle
Yeah,
made crack, and he said that he's just doing it for, they taught him in the academy how to make crack. No, I swear he did it. It was just on TV. But they use like baking soda and they put it in a jar. Like what the fuck level of depravity do you have to be at? And then it hardens. You guys all seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen. They,
Yo,
don't they
Frank,
do that?
Frankie sounds like he sells it.
The women have to be naked, right?
According to the documentaries.
Right.
Nah, I was wondering where I got because I was really I used to watch that National Geographic. They did a series on the drugs, and it meant you were talking about Silicon Valley. Look it out, BDA National Geographic. They have a whole
BDA,
series
he
about.
sounds guilty, right?
A little bit. I think he knows people.
Uh,
But they
we
all
don't know.
those Silicon Valley guys were all they were all on meth and shit, you know? It's been documented. You know, that's how they stay up doing the coding. That's who
Mhm.
they were interviewing, like a coder.
So here's the thing about a lot of those guys, right? About those Silicon Valleys, and, things like that, like the
Programmers.
sharks.
Yeah, they were
So
programmers.
they give you like the cope of, yeah, that's like you stay up, but the way they actually do it, they make you addicted. And since you don't know better, you study your whole life, you're basically a nerd, right? Or a trust fund kid. When you're addicted and you don't know what else to go to get your kick, right? You don't want to go far. You're getting money, and all the money that you get, you're getting it right there, and your employees pay for your rent and all that, right? So you don't got nowhere to go. Um, that's not like the way of
Mm.
setting cultures get you hooked. Just like the corporate life gets you hooked on caffeine, just like that type of lifestyle gets you hooked on things like Adderall and Coke.
Well,
Just
yeah,
like
those guys.
traders.
Yeah, in the documentary on National
Hmm.
Geographic. Damn, I'm trying to think of what the name. It's a whole series,
Your
and they just
basement
go
is the
to
name of the name of the documentary.
my basement. Nah, fool. Like you can look
I'm just
online. They'll
playing, dude.
tell
I
you how
just
to make
play.
crack. There's like
Uh,
tutorials. Like half a rap is about how to make crack. I
we
think
can
Biggie
have a call
Smalls.
later. You can teach me,
Biggie
man.
Smalls. BDA. You know what Biggie Smalls is?
I believe so. Yes.
He has a song called "The 10 Crack Commandments." It's
Oh
a whole
yeah, yeah,
song
yeah.
about how to make crack.
Man, are
Like
you
this is
kidding me? BDA produced for
he wrote the lyrics,
yeah. He
credited.
acting like he don't know him now, right?
I remember the song because somebody did put the song to a montage of Biden's son when he was,
Oh,
those
the
videos
So
10
they
Crack
found.
Commandments. That's
Yeah.
hella funny.
so Frankie, if you see a Big Papa and the little corner says produced by BDA,
Ah, come on. Fake
I
news, man.
think
Fake
there's been
news.
like hella 80 stars that got hooked on crack. I think Whitney Houston. That's how she actually overdosed.
Right.
On,
That
I
was a
believe,
rumor,
crack
right? That
cocaine.
she was on.
Her and
Yeah.
Bobby were hooked on crack cocaine. Like you imagine that being a big ass star on crack cocaine, not
so remember,
cocaine,
so
crack.
remember, Frankie, back in the days, most actresses and singers they were
BDA, is this okay
prostitutes.
by YouTube? Hopefully,
Yeah, I
this is a
think so. It's for
disclaimer.
educational purposes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So for the most part, actresses and singers they were prostitutes. So it doesn't really like
It's not
um,
too far out of the realm. You're saying?
no, because
I
they
think it's a
they control
conspiracy.
these prostitutes
I
with
think
drugs.
that the management gets them hooked on it, right? To control
Yep.
them.
So that's what happened. So like the thing about Whitney Houston is like she actually got mastering of her own money after a while. So that's why
Mm.
things got a little darker.
So
And
they
she got
probably
married and she
allegedly.
got no, because the thing is these guys they got them hooked. They gave them some money, and that's how they getting hooked on these 360 deals. If
Well,
you peep
yeah,
most of these rappers now, even nowadays you see these guys they're all like drug
they're all
addicts, like
on
Lil
dope. Yeah, they're
Uzi.
all dope, right?
Yeah, that's why they're so stupid. They sound like they have CTE or impeachment problems.
That was
Yeah.
part of the 10 Crack Commandments. I think I seen in a movie before. What the drug dealers did, they would go to the streets and they give it out for free. Like the first sample's free, so they get they were giving all the fiends free drugs, right? And then that's how they got them hooked. Back when the crack era first hit, I seen like how the bunch was Colors,
No, yeah, because if you see like right
Snowfall.
after, when the label got tired or like squeezed that rapper or singer however they could, all of a sudden, they were crack addicts. Like,
Well, I think part of
remember
it
Whitney
is
Houston? She was a crack addict. Oh,
part of
remember?
it could be them always being on the road, all that travel. So you start doing shit to stay up and make music, and you're working like a crackhead, and then you finally start delving into it, right?
A little bit, a little bit. Or they do like the whole eyes wide shut, and in one big party they ate you one big height,
Yeah, I
and
wish so
they get
Shaky
you.
would take that trash bag off of his hair, bro. That looks bad.
And bringing it full circle, that's what the whole thing with marijuana is. I remember, they would bring people to school. Did you guys ever have the people that came to school to tell you to say no to drugs and shit?
I think so, man. Yeah. Don't be a
Uh-huh.
fool. No, that was the other one. That was don't be a fool. Protect
Was
your tool. That
there
was-
there I think, right?
Well, when I remember they would bring in, they would try it in junior high, like in elementary, junior high. But by high school, we just threw shit at them. You know what I'm saying? Don't do drugs, and we're all smoking weed anyway. Like, fuck you, nerd. Right? But they said weed was the gateway drug. That's what the common term was. Weed is a gateway drug. That's how it starts.
I think it is. I don't think it is. Like
And
I
then
truly
you go,
believe so. I truly believe so.
and then you graduate to the harder stuff because they call cocaine the rich man's drug. That's what it was called. And crack is for like, crackies. For
Like for example,
poor
there are
people.
many rappers. They're like like weed heads, but in reality they're coke heads, and they just mask it behind that. You know what I mean? Like that guy, like Snoop Dogg. Motherfucker is not getting high in any more of fucking weed. He's a cokehead.
I see what you're saying. Oh, okay.
Because the thing is,
that would
weed,
be
even
it.
after a while, you get fat because you just eat, right? If you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, it's gonna get you skinny because you're only smoking it. But if you're somebody
Yeah.
with money, you get fat like most rappers, right? But why is Snoop
Not
Dogg stay skinny?
necessarily, bro. I mean, I know a lot of weed heads that are freaking skinny as hell, bro.
Yeah, because they
So-
broke as shit.
In facts.
That's why. Because they spend all the little money in drugs, right? So, for example, if you're somebody who doesn't really get a lot of money,
It's not necessarily because of that, bro. So it's because it affects your appetite, and you end up with cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome and shit like
Oh.
that, and you start puking uncontrollably. So you got to be really careful with that.
I mean, I don't know, man. For the most part, you're gonna get that if you're doing it with an empty stomach. Anything that you get, acid like smoking, inhalation, or a lot of coffee, is gonna get you skinny because you're right, it's gonna mess up your stomach. But if you're doing it on an empty stomach, like especially weed smokers, what they do is, especially like guys in neighborhoods, if they have like, for example, like $20, what they do is, they buy a dime, which is $10, wrap, which is $1, and then they buy a sandwich and a big can of Arizona. And they do that the
Hey,
whole
you gotta
day.
broke it down to a science. Yeah.
Man, when I was a barber, man, I see a lot of shit.
Oh, that's how you know all this stuff. You're in the culture.
Hell yeah. I was a barber while I was being in the amateurs, man.
They always said barbershops were fronts for dope spots. That's what I always.
So the one, I learned all the barber tricks. They had a little thing in the back, but it wasn't like that fucking crazy. Then the other one, it was just barbers. But I still saw a lot of things, heard a lot of stories.
Oh, they do deals in barbershops.
Again, not the one I worked at, but
Allegedly.
in a lot of barbershops. No, I'm being
Yeah,
serious.
you gotta put the disclaimer again.
Yeah. No, the first one I worked at, yes, but the second one and the final one, no.
It was strictly haircuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
the
you
guy
attract
who actually
the-
owned it actually had a pass on, and he did a couple of years, so he was scared of the shit of that. Like, I'm not falling with that again. And
Yeah, but the clientele too, though. They're from the neighborhood usually. I mean, I have my spot that I go to, the barbershop, local hood spot.
wink, wink.
I
Speaking of
smoke weed-
wink,
Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying I'm gonna drop off here, but
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
thank you for having me on, Frank and Severino.
thank
Shout out
you.
to you, man, and Telkines too, man. Telkines, stay on the straight and narrow, man.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
that?
We do talk boxing. I don't know. We veered
That
off.
guy's a good boy.
We don't condone drugs. Don't do drugs. That's the whole point, right? It's a message. Don't,
Allegedly.
Buy it
for-
from me, but
fall
don't
for
do
these-
them, alright?
don't fall for these people telling you that it's gonna help you look better, feel better, and things like that.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
No, wait a minute. All right, have a good one, guys.
Thank you, BDA.
Don't do anything above 3 lines, kids, okay?
Yeah, man. Nah. I mean, it's just crazy that
Just
I'm
eat
watching
pawn,
online and
just eat pawn, and you'll be fine, man.
All
Yeah,
these
there
young
you go.
people, though, like young
That
people.
vegetation that'll
No, but
make you
Frankie, here's the
freaking
thing
dance
though.
around, bro. That perfect, bro.
Uh, to the point of what I was making before, the music nowadays inspire you to do drugs like crazy, man. Um, the music that like my nephews and little cousins listen to, they it's just like filled with drugs. Like I did an addy, then I did this, then I smoked a blunt, then I
Yeah,
did a
yeah,
perk.
yeah. No, you're
They
right.
just openly say it. Like I did a perk, and then I licked this girl's pussy.
But that's the thing though. All music has always been about I mentioned the hippies. All music, I'd say 90% of music is about drugs in some way or shape or form.
No,
Like
but at least they left room to the imagination back then, right?
okay,
But
I see what you're saying.
you know what I mean? Like they used to say it. Like I'm not saying like the music back then was better. Of course not. It's still fucking ridiculously bad. But the problem is back then they used to give innuendos. For example, the music I grew up with, right? It was Jules Santana, Lil Wayne, little bit of Jay-Z, right? When there's the dirty stuff, they used to play around with it, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Like for example, like
Mexican
Lil Wayne, like,
boxing.
okay, I put money like on my girls
He
like
put a
panties,
song. He
right?
put a Little Wayne has a song "Can't Feel My Face." That's obviously about drugs.
Just like fucking The Weeknd.
Yeah, I can't feel my face. Yeah,
Yeah.
is he talking about he can't feel his face?
Yeah, but he's not saying like, yeah, I do true lines, I do an addy, I do a perk. He's not
Yeah,
saying none of that
yeah.
shit. We saying,
Well,
yeah, I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
numb.
I'm just saying for the young people, 19, 20, 21.
Dude, young
It's
people
crazy that
make.
they would do
Here's the thing, Frankie. Have you
shit
ever
like that.
drink for locals?
Nah, see, I can't do shit like that.
There you go. Young people think that shit's cool.
Yeah, that's
When
crazy.
for
My brother told
local,
me about that. I was
yeah,
like,
but
what the fuck?
yeah, but for locals, you know what they for, right?
For fucking?
No, for locals, I don't know if you do that, but for locals is designed for how can I explain it? For homeless people meals, right? They drink that in
For
one go,
Why
replacement
don't you
and
meals?
find
before
out Alex Vega?
they drink that.
Mexican
They drink
boxing
a whole
#1.
can.
So
Hold on.
that's what I'm
Let me just
talking
finish, okay? So they it's designed for homeless people's meals. They drink
Oh,
that. They drink that in one go, right? The whole can, and they fall
damn.
asleep on the sun under the sun. That's
Ooh,
that's the designs for homeless
that's
people's meals.
nasty.
And people, they even were rumors that were cocaine in that shit. And kids
I
nowadays,
mm,
they think it's fashionable.
they
You know
call
what
it
I mean?
liquid crack. I remember that's what they were calling it.
Yeah, because it's
Or locals,
designed
they
for.
call it liquid
Yeah,
crack.
dude, that's like a CIA drink.
I don't know. Whatever it is, it just sounds. I couldn't imagine this. Anybody listening drank Four Locos? Do you have any horror stories with Four Locos?
I will have
Other than a beer
more.
bottle throwing competition, I had a long time ago.
I will have more respect for you
I can't really
if
say
you
it.
tell me you did cocaine than you drank for locals. I will have way more
Well,
respect.
I mean, somebody's drinking it. It's out there. They sell it. Did they still sell it in stores?
Yeah,
I'm surprised
homeless people.
it hasn't been banned. Shouldn't it be banned? Isn't that something that your
Dude,
government
I've
would
told you that's a CIA drink for homeless people. That's why it's
Mhm.
still out.
Facts. I agree with that. If you want to drink a good beer, like drink something that'll knock your ass out. Drink some Heineken. Drink something hot
But
powerful, bro.
but here's the thing though. That's like three things at the same time. That's like a tequila, beer, and a Red Bull in one can. So you either want to fight or fall asleep
I
under the sun.
mean, if you want to get drunk off of a liquor, then yeah,
Damn.
But let's go freaking Buffalo Grass vodka. That shit's forbidden in the United States of America.
Abel Salute. He
Yeah.
said it was Four Locos and nose balloons at a house party. That's getting fucked up. That's the next
That's
thing I see
hardcore.
everybody doing. Nos. They're doing spray cans and Nos. Like that shit puts a hole in your brain, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, but they don't care, man. That's the point.
But
That's like the whole.
I guess,
That's like,
man. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. Like, dude,
so here's the thing, Frankie. This generation is drugs, ChatGPT, and online classes.
and they're still smarter than us, bro. They're
How?
smart. Well, I
How
think
they're
they
smart?
seem smarter with all this information, and they have all this.
So knowledge don't mean
Well,
Nothing, man.
you know what? I guess it is like it seems like they know more. That's all. It seems
So
like they
they
know
know
more because they
more. I'm gonna
uh-huh.
give you that. All right, they know more when it comes to this online shit. So they
There it is.
understand when
There
it
it
comes to
is.
trend stuff and the algorithm. But once you disconnect them from a phone, it's all over. Once you disconnect them from my
They can't
computer,
think, right? It's like
they can think.
malfunction. There
When you don't
that's
have the
crazy.
Google,
Yeah.
when you don't have the chat GPT, once you don't have the oh, let me Google it real quick and read the first answer that I see,
Yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
the
You make
brains
a
don't
good
work
point.
anymore. No.
You know, I never thought about it like that. Yeah, once you unplug them, then they're literally unplugged.
So now
And
imagine a generation like that, everything that they do is on the computer. Now you're asking them, you need to improve yourself. They don't
yeah.
want to work as hard, or they always gonna find like a fast way like ChatGPT. And what do they do? Steroids,
Well, it,
peptides.
it's
They
just
see this guy
crazy that they're
clavicular,
yeah.
pulling up girls, not women, girls, because that's what he that's what he gets, girls.
Yeah. I mean, it
Uh,
sounds good. It sounds good if somebody's telling you, "Hey, man, I got a way you can pull all kinds of bitches, and you'll be popular, and you can get all this
exactly.
money.
Which
All you gotta
listen,
do is take all these drugs." Like, what the
I'm
fuck?
gonna lie
What
to
kind of
you
deal is
if I
that?
tell you that I go to the gym because of health. That's the secondary mission, but the primary reason that I started going to the gym, well, I was, doing sports, but I was, starting to lift heavy one time in my life because I wanted to attract girls. Okay.
Right, right.
And
Normal. That's normal.
99% of guys will do it for the same reason. If they're telling
Yeah,
you they're not,
yeah.
they fucking lying to you. Okay.
That's true.
You only go there because if you're doing it for any other reason, you're gay. And
Yeah.
if you're gay, that's fine. But I'm just saying.
Well, you're going to track something, right? Either girls or men.
There you go.
uh,
So
chicks do the same thing. Chicks do the same thing.
no, yeah, but again, this is fair game. It's fair game. But the thing is, these kids, you know, you gotta go to the gym. But one of the biggest, big effort by give you diminishing returns is the gym, right? It's like the one of the main things that gonna make you feel like give you a little bit of your manhood.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to like training, not necessarily gym, any type of training, something that humbles yourself, right? Uh, but these kids they don't want to do it. Again, going back to the peptides and the steroid stuff, just like
Yeah.
clavicular. Clavicular is just a reflection of his generation.
Well, everybody,
You know?
you know what though? To be fair, everybody wants a shortcut, and I think if it existed, and when I was growing up, I would have probably been tempted. But I mean, there were still things that I could have did or used, but I just, like I said from the beginning, I couldn't imagine being addicted to anything. I've been addicted to certain things before, and being addicted is not a good feeling, where you feel like, oh shit, I gotta do this.
Dependency, right?
Yeah, yeah. So anything like drugs or alcohol, being
I
addicted,
mean,
it
I
just
won't call it that you were addicted. I will say more like you were hooked. You know,
no. I think
addicted is like
addicted,
when you stealing from your
yeah,
mom
like
to
yeah,
buy that
fiend,
thing.
right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I never committed no crimes
So you
to
were
get a
just hooked.
fix.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
were
I mean,
hooked.
I used to, I think I used to like I used to smoke weed a lot. Like I used to be a pothead.
Like for example,
I think I
yeah,
was addicted. Like I mean, I never committed a crime, but I would be like desperate. Like, oh, I would call people, at 2 in the morning, bro. You got any? You know what I'm saying?
now I know what you mean. You got the withdrawals and shit.
I just wanted to get high. You know what I'm saying? But
You
then
don't
I
want
had
to
to get
face
drug
reality.
tested. Yeah, then I had to, had to get drug tested, so I had to stop. You know what I'm saying? But, but yeah, man, no, I would never like commit crimes. I just think it's sad, man. Young people are like doing these extreme drugs to look good or pull bitches. Like, damn, bro, like. I would never think of that. Like, I'll buy some Jordans to pull some bitches. Like you said, maybe
Yeah,
work
but
out.
people don't have personalities anymore, man. That's like one of the
Yeah,
main
yeah.
main things, man. When you see these guys talking, what they consume is nothing behind it. Just empty casket. And everything started with slippery slow with the whole mammon worship, which is the worship of money. You know, just like
Yeah.
aesthetics,
Well,
what
it's
look
all
good,
online,
what
man.
sounds good.
Well, if you're online, like let's say, have you seen all these? Has anybody seen all these kids doing all these prom going crazy over prom. They're like flashing money. They're pulling up in Vipers or like Corvettes and
Yeah,
shit.
that's what I mean. Like you always
These prom
wanna
videos, like damn.
dude, you're in high school. You live with your parents.
Yeah. But it's like, damn, they're like really idolizing all this shit. Like, bro, you don't need that to get a chick.
Like
or
for
to look
example,
cool.
like for example, I was raised in DR, right, in the Dominican Republic. Um, I don't want to sound braggadocious. I went to a private school, right?
Oh
The
shit,
hometown that I
preppy.
grew up, the hometown I grew up in, is the hometown where like most baby players are from, right? Um, it's San Pedro, where Sammy Sosa is from. I grew
Mm,
up with like baseball players' kids, politicians' kids, important people, right? And when I see like the contrast, like from you know, like the culture, is huge. You
American
know,
culture.
I won't say American because I don't gonna say I'm like I come from a privileged background because you can say a little bit, but I enjoy for certain perks that the common
Right.
American didn't enjoy.
Okay.
It's because I grew up internationally. I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in New York since I was like 4 years old. Like it's no way in
Yeah.
hell like you are a lawyer in your country and you're just gonna like wash dishes and somebody else
Right.
comes to you crazy.
Damn.
'Cause that was my dad's idea, right? my
Yeah.
my mom was live here.
Yeah, it's getting crazy, man. These guys are doing whatever it takes to get viral or a little bit of YouTube fame or TikTok. I guess posting videos and looks maxing. I don't know. It's just I don't know, man. And doing the look if you could do it, but you got to do drugs to do it and ruin your future. I don't think it's worth it. But I'm gonna wrap it up. Jose, come back again. It's been a while, man. But yeah, don't be a stranger.
No, no, man, no. I remember I used to like go live sometimes here and there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I stopped
I thought you
and
were
then
locked up.
no, I did, and then
I'm just
it's
playing.
just it's hard for me to like get back on. I think the last one I did was like a couple weeks ago. So
No, all jokes
it's,
aside, I
it's
thought what I thought it was like, this probably got a girlfriend, and it's all good.
oh nah, man. I just have to find it. It's tough to be consistent on this shit,
Nah, no, man.
especially with
You're having a
boxing.
regular life,
Well, especially with boxing, man. Like right now, the next fight is Bam and Antonio Vargas. Like it's a decent fight, but in between then, like what was I looking at? I was looking at before we go. Let's see, for the people that are actually still listening and didn't start doing drugs because they got tempted. We went
Oh,
everywhere.
talking about that.
Back to boxing. This Friday, Vasquez Lugo, okay, on Pro Box. Saturday, Billy and Rozicki. At what time? 11 p.m. That's in the afternoon. Massey, Clark, McKenna Streeter,
Streeter.
and Garcia Maloney on YouTube. Yabuki,
Maloney.
Kaliko, Neri Casimiro. I think that's interesting.
Casimiro.
Yokamara, Para, Lover, Padley, and Fiaz. Is that on Saturday? That's it. That's it next week. So it's like, and then Bam Vargas, Fury Hall. Wow. Jones, Carranza. This is TV. The next big fight is not until Sylvia Diaz on
For the
Friday.
love of God, man.
So what
I
do we got?
hope,
3 weeks of nada, basically. Like, I mean, Zayas and Ennis. But that's in 3 weeks, guys. So
I'm
doing
trying
the
to go to
YouTube
that fight,
thing,
though.
man.
I'm gonna try to
You
go to
should,
that fight.
man. So doing YouTube, man. I mean, we gotta just come on and talk about boxing, but sometimes it's like, I mean, can we talk about Billy and Smith and Rozicki?
It's really hard, man.
I mean, unless we just talk about the rumors and what people are doing. But
I mean, it's something that you can just like start with boxing, talk about different things, I guess.
well, we talk about boxing. But yeah, man, don't be a stranger, man. I'll be back. Boxing takes second place to the beautiful game. Okay. You're talking about the World Cup. Oh yeah, that's gonna be big. Maybe that's why boxing's slow. They don't want to compete. sometimes. I know the NBA finals are coming
Oh,
up.
that's a good point, though. That's a really, really good point. Because by my house, man, is really lit with that.
Oh yeah,
Football.
that's gonna be the big it doesn't get any bigger than the World Cup, but I mean,
Yeah, have a
I
lot of
don't
Mexicans and Colombians and Ecuadorian neighbors.
a lot of fighting, huh?
The fighting, yeah, yeah.
A lot of fights in the stands. That's always funny.
Los Salvadorians and Hondurans, you know how it gets. Be wild.
Yeah, but
Really good
yeah,
food, though.
man, I gotta wrap it up, bro. I've been on here a good while. I want to thank everybody. So yeah, man, don't be a stranger, bro.
All right, man. Thank you for having me,
All right.
man. Everyone
Yeah,
in the chat, thank you so
good
much. And
conversation.
yeah, keep on boxing, guys.
Yeah, man, good conversation. Jose was schooling us on peptides. BDA came through. We'll see if Shakira Twitter Singh goes to Zuffa. David Benavidez playing political games. Looks like we won't ever see a Opataya fight. Probably not a Bivol fight. You know, a Bivol fought, and it was nobody cared. So yeah, man. I guess we'll just have to come back and cook on whatever the news is. But I want to thank everybody that came through. Mexican Boxing, Bones. Hit the like before you leave. Bones, Matador, DJ Big Leg, Abel, Impala, the Turk, and yeah, man, Snackford. Everybody came through. I want to thank everybody. Frank Bay, I wasn't on for a while, but I'll try to be consistent if I can. Keep the noties on, the notification, and I'll come back and we'll talk some boxing, see what actually happens with Shakur Stevenson and David Benavidez. Should get some fight announcements, right? If whatever Ryan and Devin Haney's doing. So yeah, man, we'll keep it boxing. We'll be back and we'll flambe on it. Peace.
Yep.